I don't need no one to save me. I was born to be the greatest. All that time in that basement, all that time isn't wasted. Rapping getting faded. I just wanna tell my mom that I made it. Just wanna be the topic of the conversation. Used to rock the gold plated. Now I'm wearing gold chains like I'm famous.
What is going on, everybody? This is Kings and Dreams. This is the second part of the doubleheader. Thank you all for tapping in with me a second time tonight. I really appreciate it, man. So for those of you guys who were with me for the 6:30 showing about the whole thing that went down in Colombia, extremely sad. All right, so this one is going to be a bit different. Going to maybe uplift your spirits a bit. And so question that I want to know, really, topic of conversation is Passport Brother or Blue Book Gentleman. Is there a difference? Well, I got two gentlemen, definitely well-traveled, and we're going to have the conversation. First, I want to bring up my man Grover. What's going on, brother, man? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Kangs?
Man, I am doing great, man. I appreciate it, man. You know, thank you for coming through, man. You know, yeah, man. So this is one half of the Tip Network, and then the second half of the Tip Network, my man Scott. What is going on, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you? Hello,
man,
all. Hello,
man,
buddy.
I am excited to have you both on, man. You know, I really appreciate it. I'm a big fan of both of you guys' work. And I'm just so excited to really have you on tonight. We're gonna have a great conversation, man. So let's get the conversation started. And you know, both of you could just tell me about your platform and how it all came together.
Yeah. So I've known Scott. I'm gonna say since 2005, maybe 2004.
2005. You're right. 2005.
A long time ago.
A long time.
And so and I was we were working together, and Scott was kind of like this quiet kid, you know. Funny enough, he was a quiet dude that all the ladies liked it, and where we were working, they all, Scotty's so cute, but he's so nice and this and that. And I would talk to Scott every now and again, and Scott would be like a little savage. Sometimes he'd say something, I'd be like, oh, Scott got a little flavor to him. So Scott, like, you know, we hang out with each other. And, you know, back when I used to drink, we'd come over to my house, kill 12 packs of beer, eat a bunch of chicken, and like just talk.
The Liver Olympics.
Yeah, we used to call it the Liver Olympics. Like literally, we used to just like
the Liver Olympics. I've never heard that.
Abuse ourselves and talk. And,
right.
And in the conversation, I would drop just some truths that like I had from like the OGs who like I came up under, like my uncle and my pops specifically. And like one of the things that like Scott, I think he was tripping over a female, and I looked at him. I said, "Hey man, you know what's the opposite of love?" And he was like, "Hate." I was like, "Nah, man, indifference."
Yeah, that changed my world. Just opened the world up to me. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, and I just walked away and just let him for a while, and so we started hanging out. And Scott went and did. Well, I'll let you tell about your adventures when you left and went and traveled.
I went to LA, and I'm not gonna dry snitch on myself, but I did some things, let's just say, in the industry that California is known for. But then some.
Okay. You enjoyed yourself. Understood.
So some bad things happened, but some good things happened too. We actually had this is kind of crazy, but we had a Prano shoot. I'm speaking in code right here.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you. I'm with it.
We had a Prano shoot back in our LA house, so that was going on. But then anyway, so fast forward a few years, some things went down. I decided, you know, I got to get back on YouTube because I wanted to go down to LA and start doing YouTube to the first place. But that didn't happen because I got sidetracked, came back, talked to Grover, started my own personal YouTube channel. And Grover and I started talking about like, oh, let's start a podcast together. So I'm like, all right, let me do this podcast channel because it can add extra material for what I was doing. And so fast forward some years later where we made tons of mistakes on our channel. And now you see the iteration that you see today of the Tip Network. So my travel experience, I've only been to 3 countries. I mean, I know some people haven't gone to any countries. I probably set foot in about 7 countries. My first country I set foot in was El Salvador. I've been into Moscow airport. I had to stay there for overnight. I couldn't leave. Right. So, but I've been to Peru, Croatia, and Mongolia, where I went with Grover.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect, man. You know, you know, you mentioned the Tip Network. I just wanted to know, I don't know if a lot of people know, but can you explain what the acronym means?
Yeah. So the acronym is, we were trolling someone. So we were looking for YouTube names, and we seen this corny ass place called the Happiness Podcast. It was super corny, and it was like this. I think it was this white lady who was like over the top social justicey, and so I was like, we're gonna call ourselves the Happiness Podcast Project just to troll her, right? Because you have to understand, when we started this channel, there was no thought of monetization or doing anything like.
Wait, correction. I always thought about monetizing.
Yeah, well, Scott thought about monetization. I thought about talking, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, our first show, I think, for a minute and 45. A minute and 40, hour and 45 minutes.
An hour and 45 minutes talking straight,
like no breath. And Scott was like, Jesus Christ. And
wow.
Like, I'm gonna have to do a lot of work. But what I was just like having fun. And Scott's always been very serious, very back end oriented, very like understanding like YouTube algorithms. And finally we got to a spot where we just said, okay, first of all, we're going to call it the Tip Network, because the Happiness Podcast Project is weak, and it's, you can only troll somebody who doesn't know you're trolling them for so long, right? So exactly. And the Tip Network stuck, and then after that, I think I started trying and honest during the pandemic, and we were talking about automation. We were talking about the vid.
We talked about all the things that no one wanted to hear
about. We were talking about politics.
Yeah.
And nobody cared about it, right? And not only nobody cared about it, but it was literally, which I didn't know, which Scott probably was, a YouTube apocalypse, all that stuff, where you talked about it, you just get slapped down. So we'd do a video talking about Andrew Yang, and it would we'd have like 123 subs, but we get like almost 2,000 views or something, and then the next time we talk about it, we get like 4 views. So we're totally confused. And so Scott came to me, and he was talking about Kevin Samuels, and so Scott knew about Kevin Samuels before I did, and he was talking about Kevin Samuels, and for some reason Scott really liked Kevin Samuels, and he liked the way, you know, I my theory is Scott liked the way Kevin Samuels would like politely dunk on people. Kind of like Scott's way, but Scott was into Kevin Samuels, and then certain things that I cared about, like men's issues, I would watch, but I wasn't making that content, and we made a conscious pivot to start doing men's issues and start talking about things that we really like, the things I'm passionate about. If you know me, I'm passionate about politics, and I'm passionate about families. Right. And I have my own reason why I'm passionate about why I believe that people are better in a family structure. Now, listen, I know all my young folks out there are going to be like, listen, we ain't messing with that. It's too crazy here in the West, and this and that, and that. But I've personally seen the end game when people don't have families, and it's ugly, especially when you're sick. And
Grover, let me jump in real quick.
Go on. So
for the longest time, Grover, he's over 15 years. He's been talking to me about the travel experience.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because now the Passport Bro movement is taken off. But for 15 years, I totally allowed it to glare over my mind. Right. And I didn't realize how big it was. So the reason why I'm even saying this is because for the longest time, Grover said he never wanted to get married at all. He enjoyed the single life. He said, maybe I'll go retire in Thailand one day or another country and not live here in America. I'll be an expat. Right. Then after him going to this job that he's talking about, then he did a 180. And this has been only the past year. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, it's longer than a year. But it was 3 things happened. Number one, and I say this to everyone, number one, I had a realization of what the end game was because I took care of my dad when he was sick. And if it wasn't for me and my brother, my dad would have been in trouble. That's number one. Right. Number two, I met literally the perfect person for myself. I don't believe in fairy tales, but perfect meaning that she can tolerate my BS and I can tolerate her BS. I mean, I'm just honest. And not only that, we enjoy each other's company. And, you know, and she's super sweet. And number three, I realized I was working in a job and I seen the ugliness of the end game, and it was during COVID where people would be locked in a room by themselves, and I, without telling the company, they would pay. I was in charge of like certain equipment in Northern California, and they would make complaints, and I would come in, and the equipment would be fine, so I'm leaving. They would pay me, rich people, pay me $100 an hour just to sit there and hold their hand and just talk to them, just have conversations with them. They wanted to pay me money, bottles of, Blue Label bottle. I got somebody, if you like bourbon, which I used to drink a lot, somebody gave me a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle. Wow. And yeah, it's just like, and they were like, just thank you for spending this 2 hours talking to me. And I was like, how desperate are you for someone to be there? And it really changed the way I thought about things. And along with that, started listening to Kevin Samuels and Scott talking about how people, how it is, like how people need to be together at the end of life. So I'm probably like a different type of like red pill aware or black pill person, where I really think about the end game of life because I've seen it. I'm older, I'm more mature. I'm proud to be married. My wife is awesome. I tell people that all the time. I don't have rose-colored glasses on. I am protected in my life and in my property. Right. Shout out to having a bunch of lawyers in my family. But so I do have protection. But but she's also protected for doing the right thing with me. She also gets the benefits of my family's protection. So I think it's awesome. I'm a little different than some folks. People probably in the chat just killing me like, man.
No, not really. I mean, well, the thing is that like I even say that men and women are better together. Now, different situations, right? Like if, like for an example, one of the people who I'm closest to, and I know that you know him too, Grover, Russ, Taylor Made Dreams. Taylor Made Dreams was married before, had an unfortunate, ugly divorce. Mm-hmm. So I get it. He doesn't want to get married again, but at least he made the attempt, right? So, so for me, I'm just more or less of, at least you make the attempt. Now, I understand not making the attempt here in the West, but go somewhere else where you have an opportunity, and like the government isn't going to basically, backhand you and take everything out your, basically pip slap you and take everything out your pockets. Yeah, because the thing is, inherently men do want that, but the thing is, the government in the West is not fair. I'll specifically speak to the United States because I'm not too well versed in the UK or Canada, so I'll speak to the United States. But in the United States, like it's rough. So if you have the opportunity, men, if you have the opportunity to go overseas and then get married, cool. But I know a lot of men, they're saying, I don't want to get married here.
Well, yeah, and like one thing for me is I say whatever men choose to do, it's their choice. I have a strict policy about my interactions with other men. I don't pocket watch and I don't crotch watch. Right. Strict policy. What you do is what you do. You're a man. Right. As long as you live with your consequences of your choices, it has nothing to do with me. Right. And I think that a lot of things, like talking about this whole situation with how the vitriol that the traveling community has had, especially the black traveling community. Mm-hmm. When I see it, I'm just laughing because this has been happening to me. I've been being told I'm crazy for traveling outside of the country. And I traveled outside of the country for a lot. Women were like tertiary, it was like martial arts. It was seeing stuff. It work, so work was a primary reason, so right. I would look at it and say, and I would come back from work, and I was playing jazz, and I played jazz overseas at 18. I came back, and a bunch of sisters and some white girls was like, oh, well, you've been over there with them Japanese girls. You think you're too good for us. And I was like, I just got back. I haven't even spoke to you. What's in your mind?
Right. Yeah. And so I just kind of want to rewind, because you said that you've been traveling, for so long, but like one of the reasons why you were traveling, correct me if I'm wrong, because you and I had spoken about this offline, but you come from like a military background. Is that correct?
Well, my family's military. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So like I had the best of both worlds, right? I had the best of both worlds, so I could like go to school in America in summertime. Mom would be mad at me. She's like, send me to go with my uncle in Germany, or send me to the Philippines with my uncle. I mean, I was born on a military base and came to the United States came back as a youngster. Just be sent, or even go up with your uncle in Seattle. You know, when my uncle was in Seattle, and so my favorite uncle, because I was a very rambunctious kid. So summers, I was not going to be let in the house alone while my parents worked. That wasn't going to happen. Something was going to get something did get burnt down before when I was younger, and like they just found out that wasn't the right thing to do. I was that type of kid. I wasn't bad. I was into things, if that makes sense to you. I mean,
I know what you're saying. So you weren't bad, but you were just kind of like you would just tinker with something, and then basically like all hell would break loose, like if you pushed the wrong button or something like that.
Oh no, I was stupid. I would try to I watched the Lone Ranger. And I
okay.
I tried to build a teepee in my living room and light a fire in the teepee.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
I tried to save you, but all right, you just no. I got you. And Scott, just kind of go back to you. So you said that you were watching Kevin Samuels. Like, what brought you to actually start watching Kevin Samuels? And before you answer, now was this Kevin Samuels when he was speaking with the men, or when he started speaking to the ladies?
So he was actually speaking to the ladies because at that point he was going viral.
Okay.
He was going viral, and
this is like 2019, 2020, Kevin.
Yeah, right around that cusp, right when the sickness happened,
Yep.
And so all of a sudden I just see this man in the talking about relationships, and I'm like, who is this guy? Why does he keep appearing on my feed? Because all the content I watch is like Lex Friedman, Dr. Andrew Huberman, crypto stuff, economic stuff. Like, I'm a nerd, like straight up undercover nerd. So all of a sudden he's on my stream, and also had to deal with a relationship, or it ended a relationship, a long distance relationship, which is really not a real relationship, with a girl in the UK. And she was like so woke that it was just maddening trying to talk to her. Like, we were going in circles. Like, that's how like frustrating it was just to even have a simple conversation with her. So then I saw Kevin Samuels, and he went viral at the right time. And then I started watching his content, and I actually really enjoyed his monologues, because he talks a lot about like personal development towards men and women. So if you really listen to his monologues, there's actually a lot of good information there. So one of my goals eventually is to get more of his self-development stuff. And we have done it with some of our shorts, and we do integrate some of those clips inside of our videos with Kevin Samuels talking about the self-development, the personal development, about the blue collars, the blue Henrys. So I really liked how he came at from the relationships, from the self-development, personal development side of things. All the other stuff with the women can't have it all stuff, like when he was having those phone conversations, that was just like the fun, like the icing on the cake. But the monologues is where it's at for me personally.
Yeah. Me personally, what I liked about Kevin Samuel is that he was an older gentleman who was taking his time to give wisdom to people. And like, I think a lot of folks, like, once you get to a certain age, like, if someone pays attention, I'll give them a lot of information. But if they act like they don't have time for me, I'll keep it to myself. And that's just the way. It's just like we always say, we just want respect. Like, I want respect like old folks, like gangsters and your grandpa. We just want that respect. And so like, as a person who's been around, like when I've been traveling, I see certain things people are making and certain mistakes people make. And like, I had to reach out. I try to reach out sometimes, and they just like, they don't have no time for me. It's okay. But I can guarantee you that I could stop half of the mistakes that people make when they travel. Half of the we could probably stop 100% of the mistakes you make on YouTube, because we've made them all. But like, as far as traveling, I could remedy a lot of mistakes that folks make, even doing content overseas, because we were doing content overseas. We were interviewing people, one-on-one interviews, long-form interviews with ladies in 2019 who barely spoke English. And, as a matter of fact, one of our bigger videos at the time was Black in Asia, she's Belgoon. She's Cape Verdean and Mongolian, and she was raised up there. And we just talked about her whole life, and she broke it down. She said, like, hey, the city was racist. The countryside, where all the people are like like, you know, they ride horses. That's where people accepted me. Then when I came to the after I had made myself, I'm their boss. The same people who were kind of like giving their stuff as their boss. These stories about traveling is fascinating. It's a lot more, you know, where else can you find a story like that you can relate to in a totally different environment? And somebody sat down and blessed us with that story. I mean, I was super happy for that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. It was that video that was the little engine that could.
Yeah, it started off with like 400 views, and it's like
No, it started off with like 50 views, and then like a year later, all of a sudden it's like 3,000 views. I'm like, where did this even come from? Like
yeah.
Nice,
but,
nice. I mean, I agree. Like, I like learning about different cultures. Like I've had my passport since I was 3 years old, and I'm about to be 38 in about 2 weeks. And so like I just like learning about like different you know cultures and things like that. Like one of the videos, like when people first go to my channel, I have a video and it says why I choose Colombia, and I have my homegirl Tours by D and my other homegirl Paola, and they're Afro-Colombianas, and so they talk about like the Afro-Colombian culture and different festivals and things like that, and just talking about like the food culture, and it's just very cool to learn about that because when I first, I'm sorry.
No, I was saying right.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. So when I first went to Colombia, like I didn't know like that they had like a big Afro culture there, and so one of the first places that I went to was called Palenque, Colombia. And so Palenque, Colombia, what I found out is one of the places. The first territory of the runaway slaves.
Wow.
Of all of the Americas. So we're talking North, Central, and South America. So Palenque, Colombia is where our people, melanated people, went there and made it their own territory. So I would recommend anyone that you know who travels and who goes to Colombia and hasn't been to Palenque, you should go to Palenque because it's a very impoverished area, but the people there are so happy and they will give you the shirt off their back. I mean, literally, like they were like trying to give me stuff, and I'm like, no. I need to be giving you. Like some people don't have like doors to the front of their houses, and it's just it's a very humbling experience. You know. So like learning about that, like what you said, like with the woman from I believe you said Mongolia, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So she was treated poorly, and then she turned it around and flipped it, and now she manages the people who treated her poorly.
Yeah, which is really funny because she's the happiest person in that office.
I bet she is.
And she's a sweetheart. Like she's really a good personality.
One of the nicest people. That's funny is I've met some of the nicest people in the world travel, right? You know, my wife's not from the United States, and she's literally one of the nicest people I've ever met in the world.
Except she keeps calling me Chino.
Yeah, well, she calls it my wife's from Mexico. She's from Oaxaca. And so she looks at Scott, and but it's always out of love. She's like, "Did the Chino eat? What's the Chino gonna eat? Where's the Chino at? Is he okay?"
So what does Chino mean?
It's Chinese.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but what is your background, Scott? Your nationality?
I'm half Vietnamese and half Scots Irish, like European mud.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is that sound coming from me?
That's from me. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit. My bad, guys.
It's like I was like, Scott, I was like, are you editing
over there, right?
Are you editing in real time?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, but So okay, so you said that you're Vietnamese and Irish and Scottish.
Yeah. So I got like this. So I'm what is it called? A second generation immigrant. So my mom is an immigrant from Vietnam. Okay. She came over here by boat. So she kind of has a kind of crazy story, or at least from what I hear from her family friends, where when she came over on the boat, they got boarded by Thai pirates. And you can imagine what pirates do, right? So apparently, from what I hear, she grabbed a bunch of engine grease and put it all over her face to make her look disheveled and like ugly because she's a pretty woman. They bypassed her or passed over on her. So it was just like some crazy experience or crazy stories that year from back from Vietnam, especially when they came over here, or what happened when the communists took over. But anyway,
One of the things I like when my interactions with Scott's mom is sometimes she be in the comment section.
Oh, she's a gangster. She's a gangster.
She's hard. She don't play like. and also, I think what's really important is like I know it's like, and I'll just speak for Southeast Asia because we can pivot here because talk about Scott's family. A lot of dudes think they go to Southeast Asia and they think they're gonna run over these women, and they don't understand that like we have to make sure that we don't, as people who travel, fall into that same mindset that our detractors have. Oh, these women are dumb and they don't understand this and they're highly uneducated. First of all, there's a difference between education and knowledge. And so if they don't have a piece of paper, which some of them do, they have life experience. And the saying is, and this is what everybody who's ever been in Southeast Asia, my dad was in the Vietnam War, and he said, listen, you could drop a Vietnamese person in the middle of the desert naked, and they'll knock on your door the next day and ask them why you did that. Like, they're survivors. And so you have to be careful. And he always told me, like, because, I was going to Asia and my dad was alive, and he'd tell me, he's like, listen, it's very easy to get fooled. Keep your guard up and treat people appropriately. Treat people like you're a visitor in their house. Be polite, be respectful like you were raised to. If everybody knows me, they know that unless I'm heated, I come off as respectful as I can. I'm as respectful as I can to you unless you push me, right? But don't think that just because he said, don't think because they appear meek, blessed are the meek. That's what my dad always told me. And so I think one of the things that Scott made in the video that we did earlier, that we released earlier today, is that you think that you're playing the game when they're playing the games, and so you have to be careful. Don't.
It's just not them. It's just not that person you're dealing with, but it could be the whole family playing the game too.
Yeah,
that's the key point.
Right.
They'll play meek and they'll play quiet, but they'll plan. Especially if you disrespect them, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is the disrespect factor, and make them lose face. If you make them lose face, then there will be a vendetta after you. And I know this from every Southeast Asian country I've gone to. I've done business in Southeast Asia, and just even negotiating the price of a shirt is a negotiation of saving face, because everybody is the king of their own castle there, so you want to be very careful. So that's some of the knowledge, like, if I give a consultation, that's some of the knowledge I give people, especially if they're looking to try to find someone to bring back. I tell them how to vet the family. Little tricks I learned from folks when I was living there, how to vet the entire family, because you will never have more pull over anybody with a emotional background than their family does. Until their father gives them away, you have more pull than them. And even in some cases, after their father gives them away, they can still pull those strings. And so, like, I don't have the reverence that my wife has for her father is why I like her so much, right? It's one of the reasons why I like her so much. That's respectful, and it's respectful, and but like, her father asked her to do something, she's going to do it like that, right? It's the only time she gets off the phone with me, if I'm talking to her, is when her dad calls. She's like, listen, my dad's calling. He only calls once or twice a month. I got to get this. I'm like, okay, I understand. Right. So I always tell people, when you're looking for a traditional woman, understand that tradition also means family is very strong. And you have to vet that family more than you would vet somebody in the West, where family is not very strong.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. I mean, like, the most important thing is family, because when you are in a long-term relationship and or if you end up marrying this woman, you are inheriting her family as well. And so how she treats the men in her family, particularly her father, you're basically looking at you guys' future, because you guys are going to grow old together. And so how she treats him, essentially, that's how she will be treating you. And I think that, like, as you mentioned, like, at least here in the States, like, we don't have that here, and a lot of other countries, whether you go to Asia or some parts of Eastern Europe or some Latin America, like you have that over there, and I think that's the reason why a lot of guys go to these locations, because they are yearning for that.
Yeah, if you want traditional features, I mean, listen, here is the thing that I always have to tell guys, and Scott, back me up if I'm wrong. You tell me I'm wrong. The gangsters have traditional features, bro.
Yeah.
so like the gangsters.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Asians are pretty damn gangster. Like, don't let their meat looks fool you, right?
Oh no, I would never. No, I would never, man. I mean, yes, like you know, they're polite and calm and laid back, but no, you don't want smoke, man. You definitely don't want smoke.
So I always say, like, you know, I've met folks, you know, doing business who I know, like, I'm like, you know, you get the vibe that their business is a little deeper than what you're doing on the surface, but it's none of your business because I'm here to negotiate a price to buy something. After I buy this for my company, I'm out, right? I'm not here to, you know, but like even that person, you know, you see something come down the road and I was like, wow, this guy was really nice and polite and he had an entire family structure set up and this, that, and his side business, the side feature of this. So even the folks who may be doing something that you don't like or you think may be bad, they also tend to have some features about them. I mean, I've seen some ratchet ladies in Thailand who turn around and try to turn on a wife mode. You're like, it's hilarious. So I always tell folks, be careful. Matter of fact, if you indulge me later on, I could tell you a story about a friend of mine who went on a beaten path without my didn't take my advice and went on a beaten path with somebody, and he almost.
Is this White Boy Steve?
No, not White Boy Steve. It was hey, this is how bad we are when we're over there. Like, there's White Boy Steve, because there's like White Boy Steve and there's Black Steve, and then there's White Steve was a black albino dude, so White Boy Steve was a dude from Jersey, and then there was Black Steve who was I think he was Nigerian, and then there was Chinese Ken. And Kiddo, and Chinese Ken was a Chinese cat. Literally how we call people because we couldn't remember nobody's last name. Yeah, and that's just me. I can either remember your last name or your first name, or I can never remember it all together. So but it was just a situation. We could get into it. We'll get into it if I could tell a story later on or something. But,
yeah, no worries.
I know you got some topics you want to hit.
Yeah, no worries. So we're about 30 minutes in. I just want to give a shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's see here. Garden Scientist says, "What's up?" My man Jay Burden, salute, my brother, salute, man. Thank you for popping in. Prime VA 757 is in the building, man. Yes. The King's Table 901, Memphis. I see you, man. Salute to you guys. The vital message. What's up, brother? What is up, man?
What's up, Caduceus?
Yes, Caduceus is in the building, man.
What's up, brother?
Mr. Dacus, I see you. Lovely. Yes, you already know, man. For sure. LB Crypto on the check-in. All right. Miss Gail Nelson.
Hello, Gail.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Miss Gail.
Hey, Gail. How you doing?
Yeah, man. The Dazzling Urbanite.
Oh, thank you, Dazzling Urbanite, for following us on our social medias.
Thank you very much.
Miss Polly. Yes, I see you.
Miss Polly. We actually follow. I actually Polly.
Rest in power, Kevin Samuels.
Yes. Long live St. Kev, man. Absolutely. Nuclear family is the way to go. Yes, I agree with that one. Let's see here. XL Pro back in the building. Okay.
Thanks for subbing, XL Pro.
Yeah.
Razor Rays. Salute to Kings and the panel. All right. COVID mess with people more than they realize. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Very valid. Yeah, so I kind of want to stop there really quickly and just kind of touch on that, right? Because Grover, you said that some people, some people just like kind of just pay you just to kind of hold their hand, you know what I mean? Right?
Hang out with them. It was the saddest thing and the saddest realization I ever had. That I had always thought that, like, when you go, you go. Mm-hmm. I do believe that men are probably more equipped to die alone because we're kind of used to harsh realities.
Right.
But there was men too who would be like, "Hey, fella, can you play cards with me?"
Yeah.
Because see, what happened was I was going in and out of places I was delivering what's called DME, and I wasn't delivering it, but I was a Northern California equipment manager for durable medical equipment, which is home medical equipment company. And so during this time when everything hit, if you didn't have immediate family, your friends couldn't visit you.
Right.
Because everybody was isolated. Now I could go anywhere because I had to go fix the stuff. So me and my guys would go everywhere, and I would have guys who say like, man, I can't go to this. It's just too sad. I can't go there. So I would wind up going there to investigate, see if they were mistreating people, because I have a duty to report if somebody's being mistreated. You know, I'm bonded and sworn in. So, elder abuse is important. So I would go and nobody was being mistreated. It was just sad that they were just isolated.
Right.
So like, you ain't did nothing wrong. And I have people tell me it's like I'm in prison. I can just go in my apartment. I'm talking about rich people with like living in a 2-bedroom, 900 square foot apartment, but they can't have a visitor. They can't do the things that they would normally do. And these folks I could go there and I'd play cards with them or talk to them when I could. So some of these folks, I was the last person they seen. And I thought how sad it was, because what you want at the end is somebody who knows how you were when you were at your best.
Right.
You didn't want to see when you were strong, not when you're going crazy, when you're slipping. You want to, when you're weak, when you got to help them go to the bathroom. You want someone who remembers you. So when you're doing that, and that's why I think it's so important for families to be together. I kind of let the cat out the bag why I'm so passionate about it, but that's really it. I mean, nothing really. Listen, if people know me, people don't see me scared. Like I fought professionally. I'm a martial artist, executive security. I've been in bad situations. I grew up at a time where it wasn't safe. I was 14 in 1988. And during the crack epidemic, I grew up at a time where people were getting shot and beat up, whatever, right? And I wasn't in the suburbs at the time. I was in a pretty aggressive neighborhood. But
wait, you're 14 in 1998?
I was 14 in 1988. I was 14 in 1988.
I was
88. I heard 98. Sorry.
No. Then I'd be lying about my age.
Yeah. Like, what?
I ain't out here trying to reverse age. But no, I was a freshman in high school in '88. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it was bad. None of that scared me. None of that pumped any fear into my heart. Having people bribe me with a bottle of Blue Label to sit here and talk to them for half an hour scared me. I was like, what? Yeah. How does this feel? How does this isolation feel if this person who's been powerful their whole life needs that?
Right.
And that's crazy. That's why I'm all for, like, if dudes or women want to go find a real relationship overseas, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I completely agree, man. And Scott, like, I wanted to ask you, so I don't really know too much about your background, but like did you have like anything like similar like affect you when it came to the pandemic?
I'm one of those weirdos where like I'm fine by myself.
Okay. So you like being alone? Gotcha.
Yeah. I like being alone. So like it didn't really bother me one bit. But I did see how it started affecting other people around me, where they were getting a little bit stir crazy. And I was fortunate enough where nothing had happened with my family during that time period. Yeah. But I probably would react it in a negative way if something did happen with my parents, because my parents are elderly.
Right.
So I got lucked out from there. But I understand with people that have been in those situations, and especially the stories but the experiences that Grover told me about, like it made me start thinking about, oh, maybe marriage might be a good idea. Marriage in like a ceremonial sense, not by the state, because obviously we know what the state does.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So I want to kind of transition back into the traveling, and then so Scott, I know that you said that you traveled to three countries. What made you start traveling initially?
So what made me, I never really thought about traveling at all. So my friend, she asked me if I wanted to go to Peru with her and her cousins. So we went over to Peru, and during this time period, that's when I started doing YouTube. Okay. And I don't think, no, we started doing Tip Network too at the same time. And so I said, okay, if I'm going to go over Peru, I might as well start recording content. So I started recording a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of stuff in the backlog that I never edited just because it didn't make it took too much time and there wasn't much of a return on investment on it. But we got a bunch of stuff that we're going to put on tip passports where it's going to be with Peru, it's going to be with Croatia and Mongolia. So I went over Peru. We went to Machu Picchu, Rainbow Mountain, Huayna Picchu, which happens to be like the tallest peak in Machu Picchu. And then I recorded a bunch of stuff. We went to Cusco, or we stayed in Cusco. And it was literally to experience the world for the first time, to also try to practice my Spanish because I was doing Duolingo at the time.
Okay.
And also was mainly just to record content. I'm going to be real about it. Like I was wanting, I can probably write this off. I can make content out of this and then monetize this thing later on. So that's where my head was always at.
Yep. No, I mean that makes a lot of sense. And so like one of my very good friends, my best friend really, the Flyboy Way, he's also a content creator. I'm not sure if you've heard of him, Scott, but I know you've heard of him, Grover.
Dude is dope, man.
Yeah. Okay, so both of you have heard of him. Yeah. So he and I went to high school together. And so like he had like the same thought process as you, Scott, right? Like I get to travel the world and I get to make content and I get to, monetize off of it, right? Yep. And so what he wanted to do was show people experience because like the part of New Jersey where I went to high school and where I had lived at the time, like it was a bad area, like Newark, New Jersey, East Orange, like that's the hood, man. So you got someone coming out of the hood and traveling, getting this content and people like putting this online. And I guess at that time, and this is way before I was Kings and Dreams, because I just really became Kings and Dreams last year. But, 2021. It's 2023 now. But like, this is back in 2006 when he started traveling, and he was thinking about that. And so it's just very interesting to hear that you and him had the same mindset.
Oh yeah. Even like I went over to Croatia with another group of friends. We went there for the Ultra Music Festival, which happens to be like EDC type, electronic music, popping pills and stuff. My man. Shout out to my man Tobias, the traveler. He told me about that. That festival. He and I were just having conversations, and he told me about that in Croatia. Oh yeah, it was great. Like, and that was another thing. Like, I recorded a bunch of stuff over there too. So everything was coming from not only my experience as a culture and seeing new things, but it really was coming from a content creation. And in fact, I mean, Grover's already talked about Tip Passports. So that's a channel that's going to be dedicated more on the seeing the world and the things that you need to do to travel safely. Because for me, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm hyper paranoid and vigilant about what my surroundings are, especially if I'm in another country. Because there was a time where I was at Ultra Music Festival. I had to backtrack because I had to go return my camera because they didn't allow cameras to go inside the festival or something. Mm-hmm. I had a GoPro. They allowed GoPros, but not like an actual point and shoot camera. And so I started heading backwards. You can have a lens, you mean? Yeah. With any lens or flash, they don't allow that at the Ultra Music Festival. So I was heading back, and these two guys I saw in the corner of my eye started rushing at me, and they were rushing at me from behind. I wasn't going like too fast. I was just jogging lightly, and they got ahead of me, and I was like, oh crap. So I started squaring up because I'm like, who are these two guys? So they stopped me and they revealed their badges to me, and they were telling me they're Croatian police. So they told me like they need to search my back just to make sure I didn't have any pills on me. But at that time, I ingested the pills already, so it was, like I didn't have anything. Right. So, and I wasn't selling or anything. Like, no. Like, I got you. In a foreign country, like that's crazy. Yeah. So, so they started going through my stuff, and at first I thought like the two cops told me like, oh, let us look inside your wallet, and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna give you my money. And at that point, when I look at it in retrospect, I'm like, dude, I would have got myself in trouble or a physical altercation with law enforcement if they happen to be corrupt. But luckily, they weren't corrupt police officers at all. They were just really doing their job. Right. And they looked through my stuff, and I was clear. There was nothing on me. And so they looked at my money. I think I had like 400 kunas, which is the Croatian dollar at the time. Yeah. And they also accept dollars over there. and 400 cunas, or it was like 500 cunas. I forgot what it was, but it was a lot of money. And I think that equivalent to United States dollars, I think it's maybe like $150 or something like that.
Okay.
And they basically told me, like, don't bring this much money around walking around the neighborhoods. And I was like, okay. And so that's where with Grover, he told me it's not how much money you have. Well, you got to think of money in what does money mean to that person in that country? Because if you travel over there with 500 cunas, which to you is probably $100, to someone else, that's a come up. I mean, that could be the rent for the month.
Right.
I base everything on how much does it cost to live there. So, because I've always been taught that somebody put a bullet in you over a month's rent. That's just the way it was when I was younger. So if you think, well, in San Francisco, I mean, they put a bullet in you for a quarter of a month's rent because it's so expensive. But if you're somewhere and a month's rent is $100, it's almost disrespectful for you to just be flashing $100 around, because, like, imagine how hard someone has to work to get a month's rent.
Right, exactly.
A month's rent is hard work everywhere in the world unless you're rich. Right. I mean, that's just the bottom line. Everywhere in the world unless you're rich, a month's rent is hard work. It represents labor. And so as a traveler, as somebody who's been around the world, that's how I start thinking, like, okay, how much is it costing to stay here? All right, this, that, this. Cool. Let me not flash this like this, because, like, I'm a target now. I'm food. And so that's just one of the things you just picked that up, right? From being around it. Like, you know, I've been jumped a couple of times and robbed a couple of times out and about. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna let this happen no more, because I can get mad and be like, oh, this country's jacked up. But then you still gotta look at, what did I do? Yeah. I'm still the one here. I'm still accountable for myself.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is that, like, if you present an opportunity, like Razor is, I don't know if Razor is still in the chat, but if you guys are familiar with Razor's content, like, he talks about, you know, especially in Colombia, whether it be Cartagena, Medellin, or what have you, basically guys just really do, like, putting himself out there, not in a smart way, not thinking logically, and getting robbed. Whether they're meeting a woman on dating apps, or going to different areas and, like, getting their drink, you know, getting their drink spiked, or if a guy's wearing, like, too much jewelry, and then, you know, getting his watch snatched or his chain snatched, like. You gotta understand, in some of these, you know, in some parts of these countries, like, as you mentioned, Scott, and both of you gentlemen have mentioned, like, $100. It may not mean much to us over here, but to them, that's everything. You know, like, I could pay rent for, you know, maybe 2 months or something like that. So if you just walking around with your big medallion, like, yeah, they you know the MOP thing, Annie up. Yeah, they getting that. They getting that.
But that was an anthem too, boy.
Yeah, yes, it was, and it was real, and it was real, and it was real. It was real. People was definitely getting. Yeah, people was definitely. You know how they say, jack that fool. Yeah, they was getting jacked. They was getting jacked.
I was like, New York is so aggressive, though.
I know the other thing is, they also I'm not sure which country. I heard it from somewhere where they really value iPhones. So you have
South Africa.
South Africa.
South Africa. The number one stolen good in South Africa a few years ago was an iPhone 10.
Really? Yeah. I want to know. You know what, man?
I have some family from who lives in South Africa. That's how I do.
Man, Double R, if you're still in the chat, I think I wonder if iPhones is probably in Colombia. I'm not sure though, but, like, I know this one situation where this guy was in a taxi cab, and that's another thing, guys. Like, here's a tip. You know, use the Uber app. Use Uber, because you'll be able to get the driver's name, and so the driver does not want to get in trouble. See, with the taxi cab, you don't have to know that person's name. But anyway, back to my story. So the guys in the cab got picked up from the airport and what have you, And so, just having a regular conversation, and I guess like the guy's like texting on his phone or whatever. So the driver's like, oh, so he's like, oh, what kind of phone is that? So he's like, it's an iPhone, whatever number it is, And so, next thing you know, like the driver pulls on like the side road, maybe like a minute or two later, pulls out this big shank and basically tells him, ante up. Damn. It's like you got to really, really be careful, man. You really got to be careful.
Absolutely. A matter of fact, one of the things that when I go is I had a phone that I just used in Thailand. Yeah. So we had our Thai cell phone. Like now, I could take my iPhone and just switch it, and just buy international service and pay that exorbitant amount. But normally, if I'm going to be in Thailand, I'll talk to somebody I know, and I'll be like, "Listen, you got extra phone? Cool. Let me buy a couple of calling cards on it, so I could, I'll buy some minutes on it, and just let me rock with your phone. If I mess it up, I'll buy you a new phone. But I don't want something fancy. I just need something that could like, it'd be different if I was shooting content, right? But I just need stuff because, like, I like you could shoot a lot of content with a good phone, but I wouldn't take an iPhone. I'd take a Google Pixel then if I was going to shoot content, because Scott trained me to that. He said the Pixel got the best camera.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's what's up. I didn't know that. But I know exactly where you're going with the whole phone thing, because you don't want to bring like the nice fancy phone over there, because they see that they're gonna want that. They're definitely gonna want that. But let me just jump into the super chat. Yeah. Shout out to my man Black by Design for the super chat. Just stepping through the show. Love. Just seen Grover on El Guapo Beautiful Lies channel the other day. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to you, my brother. Hold on a minute. Double R just responded. Medellin police recovered over 300 stolen cell phones from a gang 2 days ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Damn. So that's
time. I guess the cell phone ring is popping in Colombia too, huh?
Yeah. Let me just get back to some of these chats. LB Crypto, he said, "Nah, bro, we salute you." I think he's talking to you, Grover.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny because whenever I'm so accustomed, because I've done so much Muay Thai, that when I want to show respect from afar, this is called a Y. Yeah. And so I wind up doing it all the time, and people think I'm weird, but it's just something. Especially if I'm on stream, I'm just like, thank you, because I think it's a blessing for people to come, and like I said, if I got knowledge to share, I hope people just find value with it. If you find value, hit a like, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that's all I need. I just need you to like, subscribe, and get some value from me. That's all I want.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Moderators, make sure that you are dropping the tip network. Definitely make sure that you guys subscribe to both of these gentlemen. Man, like they, the yin and the yang, man. I've told Grover this offline. Like I'm true to what I say, man. Like I really love you guys' content, man. I really do.
I super appreciate it. Like I don't think I could say this confidently that it took a lot of work to get to where we are, and I don't think we're great, but I think we're very competent content creators now. A lot of work to like be able to deliver a message and understand what to do and pick a title. And I'm gonna say this, and I'll say this. I'll put like our thumbnails that Scott makes against anybody's thumbnails in the industry because they're fire. And like just like besides the editing, but even like the videos that aren't highly edited, where we're just talking, it's just being able to deliver the message and then having the editing and back it up. I mean, it makes me feel great that people actually acknowledge us a little. We just crossed 3,000 subs, and it's been a long time coming. So I want to give
that's great, man. That's great.
Appreciate that everybody who subbed to us, everybody who's just watched one video, even if you thought I was a fool, even if you left me a comment and said I don't know what I'm talking about, I still appreciate you.
No, we appreciate it very much.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. Absolutely. This YouTube, this YouTube thing is it's hard work, not hard work physically, but mentally, and basically, trying to make sure that you're putting all the pieces together You want to make sure that you have your talking points. You want to make sure that your talking points make sense, and then you want to make sure that like your thumbnails and everything, everything put together, like it comes out and people think it's so simple. It's not that simple. It's not as simple as you think.
Not as simple as I thought it was going to be. I was like, listen, when I talk, people listen. I didn't spoke before, and I'd have 15 people listening to me laughing. I'm like, it's just going to be like I'm shooting the shit in my phone, right? And Scott's just sitting here looking at me like, God, this motherfucker don't. I remember one day, this is the classic Scott. Grover, you have to look at the camera. I was like, but I want to.
I've been doing it all the time. I always trying to remind her, look at the camera, so people seems like you're looking at
him. He's right here, and he's like, "How is it?" I'm talking to Scott, looking straight ahead, and he's standing.
So what you do, like, this is something that I learned too. So like if someone is next to you, right? So you start talking. In the midst of you talking, you look at them to maintain that eye contact visual, but then you turn back into the camera. So this way, like, you're still keeping the engagement, because you got to remember, even though like you're talking to him, but you're talking to the audience too. So like if the audience sees your head turn this way the whole time, that loses engagement.
Scott,
hey, I'm happy you told him.
That's okay. That's okay, man. It's all good. Shout out to my man, the King's Table. He said, I was married 15 years and I will never do it again here.
Respect. I respect anybody who gave it a shot, first of all, because we all raised to do the right thing. But I'll tell you this, doing it here, I definitely understand. Like even Scott said, ceremony, but I don't know about all this paperwork now.
Yeah.
Right.
So I definitely understand it.
So let me just like chime in real quick. Like,
man, go ahead, bro. You don't need to say let me just chime in. Just jump in, man. That's all.
Because
we all bros here.
Like, all right. So just Vietnamese women,
or
right?
gentlemen. I did that right.
So I'm around Vietnamese women, and like they know the rules of marriage. So they know after 10 years, now it's like they can get alimony. Like they know the laws regarding the marriage. So that's all I got to say about women of all cultures. They have an understanding of the laws and how it makes it to work in their favor. That's why I'm kind of against having the state come into marriage, and I rather see it as a ceremony than having the state do it, because it seems like the women are kind of planning on the side too, which is crazy, considering they all want like this like soulmates and twin love or twin flames and astrology signs and all this, but behind your back planning on you with the state. Like it doesn't make any sense. The whole Disney nonsense, like, oh my God, you're a Virgo. It's like, listen, I don't care what sign you are. Like, listen, like, you know what I mean? Like if we rock together, we rock together. Like, if I, like, man, like I remember, like sometimes I would tell, some woman I'm an Aquarius. Oh my God, you're an Aquarius. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. To me, all that stuff, like, I mean, like I've read some of it, and I guess I have some. No, I'm not going to say I guess. I know I like from what I've read, I do have some of the characteristics of an Aquarius, but I'm my own person though. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like someone can have the same exact birthday as me, but could be completely different from me. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. But I'll say about astrology though, it's great to break the ice with women and really understand how they're thinking. And then talking their language. Anyway, that's just all I gotta say.
That's true.
No, don't get it twisted. Scott's all like nice and quiet. Scott a fuckboy, dude. Scott is the nicest dude in the world. But like, oh, he's such a nice boy. This not. I be sitting here like, yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, well, man. So my cousin, he's married now. He's married now, but like he has, so like kind of like how like you and Scott have like the yin and yang Grover, like that would be like my cousin and I, like, growing up. Like I was like more of the outspoken one, and he would just be kind of like laid back in the cut. But like by the end of the night, like he'd have like 15, 20 phone numbers or something, and this is before like Instagram and all that stuff.
Right.
Like he would just be in the cut and like we'd be at a party, whatever, and I'm hanging around, mingling with everybody, and he's just chilling in the cut. And I'm thinking like, man, maybe he didn't have a good time, right? And so, I'm like, man, did you enjoy the party? And he's like, oh yeah, man, I got like 15 numbers or whatever. just like really cool about it. I'm just like, man, like,
he's gonna enjoy the after party. That's what he's gonna enjoy.
I full got a dictionary of numbers. Talk.
Shout out to my man, the Art of Will is in the building. I want smoke with that overgrown son. Oh, come on, man. I don't know who he's talking about.
I know who he's talking.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
All right. No Excuse Entertainment in the building. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, long live St. Cab. Yep.
We crypto.
Yeah, man. Tim Howard's in the building. Make sure that you all hit the like button and notification icon and share the content to as many people. Yes. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Definitely hit that like button. It's usually the people who don't have much always the first to give to others.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Well, one of the things I can tell you that touched me the most is every place I went, the people who had the least wanted to give us the most. Like sitting with the that native family in Mongolia and eating all that food and drinking that fermented horse milk and like hanging out with them. It was great. Like it was like one of the highlights of my life where like, I mean, I've been places in Thailand where they invite me for a barbecue and like, I know these folks ain't got a lot of money and they go get seafood and just the best food and just sitting back enjoying with family is a thing, so I absolutely agree with that, what Loyalty said there. It's the people who don't have much is always the first to give, because like you gotta depend on each other when you don't have a lot, because just like you go next door for a cup of sugar when you don't have sugar, I mean,
right,
because you don't have a lot.
Right, absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see here. Oh, I got a super chat. Oh man, Mostly Money. This is again. My man Andre Love Crossing Borders. He has his channel. Another channel. Andre has like 10 channels, by the way, man. But so his channel Mostly Money, man, and he talks about financial. Man, it's a very good channel. He's talking for people about 65 and older, but it's very good to know.
Yeah,
it's very good to know, man. Let's see here. Great. I'm sorry.
I just want to clarify, Andre. That's the cat who's married, long-term relationship or married in Colombia.
Yes, he's married. Yes.
I just wanted to make sure I knew he was talking about respect.
Yep. Okay, so you see this?
Yeah,
that's him. Both yeah. So he says, great topic, great panel. Guys, keep bringing the great content. Thank you so much, brother. Definitely appreciate it, man. As a matter of fact, let me see this one. Oh, excellent points, KND. I think he's talking about my camera angle. That part of the conversation. All right, let me just scroll up because I want to make sure I get to all of you guys' comments because I still have some more questions for these gentlemen. Iridium Kush. Hello, Kings. Hey, man, Iridium Kush, man. We got to get that collab, man. So hit me up so I could pop up on your channel, man. I would definitely love to do that soon. Before the billions. That's my guy right there, man. Salute.
Well, by far one of the nicest people on YouTube, dude.
Yes, yeah, man. That's a good brother. That's a good brother, man. But he's also hilarious too, man. He's also hilarious too.
and man, the fitness journey.
Yeah. Wow. He said we up. I'm not.
Oh, that's the final message. What's up, brother?
We up. Yeah, we all up, man. Cortez Smith is in the building. Yo. Oh man, we're Men's Lux Magazine. Greetings, YouTube fan. All right. Jay Fleming, my dude. What's up, man? Appreciate you. Greetings, Oh, speak Spanish now, my man. Oh, I call him Obi-Wan Kenobi, but that's my brother right there, man. Make sure you click or tap that thumbs up if you haven't already, for sure. Oh, okay, that was a 300.
Can I point out something? You have a really great chat community.
Yeah, you do.
Like
Thank you, man.
Like it's really good, really great chat community, great comments. You know, you see some live streams where it's like infighting and stuff and this that. It's like really good comments. So that's cool, man.
Oh, you see some. I mean, you see sometimes it gets a little chippy, but I always try to make sure like things don't get out of hand, because like I'm not really for the tomfoolery, and I know like some, you know, I'm not calling anybody out or trying to be disrespectful, but some channels are for the tomfoolery. I'm not for the tomfoolery. I'm a grown ass man. I don't got time for it, man.
Exactly.
Let's see. Mark Stewart, what up, fellas? Hey, man, salute to you, Mark. Thank you for pulling up, man. Black by Design. Woo, 300. That's, yes, I know, right? I'm not familiar with Scott T. Yeah, so Scott T, you know, actually, this is a perfect segue to kind of just let them know what you do for the Tip Network. So, I'm gonna make you big, man. Go ahead, Scott. Talk your slickness, man. Let's go.
Oh no, I mean, so Grover, he makes the rounds a lot while I'm usually in the back editing all day. So I'm the editor on the channel. I do the thumbnails. I do the content strategy with Grover. I analyze analytics, all the boring stuff. I also perform on camera as well as I do the voiceovers. But if it happens to be issues pertaining to Black people, then I take a backseat and I just do the editing, because you know I don't need to say anything about that. So that's what I do. But I normally don't really go around on panels, just because I don't know. I just guess I'm editing all day. So
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, man. I mean, you know, thank you for becoming coming in front of the camera from behind the camera, man. I'm really humbled and appreciative that you have really, you know, come out and, you know, you do great work, man. You do great work, brother.
I think it's a misunderstatement when you say like brand strategy or like what Scott does is, and I can say this, Scott makes the mesh of my ideas make sense. So I'll say something like, man, like the thumbnail. I said the thumbnail, he's going to be on one side, it's going to say Passport Bros. We're going to be on the other side, it's going to say Bluebook Gentleman. And this and that. Scott's like, wait, what are you talking about? Okay. And then I said, man, there's this picture. And Scott's like, all right, dude, that's enough. Just let me. He just took I threw a word salad at him, and that thumbnail came out. So that's kind of like Scott's fluent in Groverese, where I'll say some stuff, and it's like, I shouldn't say Groverese. That's rhymes with ovaries. But he's fluent in like fluent in Grover speak. When I'll say something, and he'll be like, "Okay, I think we've worked together for so long, because over 15 years, that we understand kind of like what each other's thinking. Like I understand. Like I'll say something, I'll know what to piss Scott off, and I'll just be like, you know, I'm not trying to piss you off, man, but like
I feel you.
You know what I mean? You know, sometimes like men have to have those conversations where it's like chippy. You know?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Yeah. You know, I get it.
Yeah.
Let me jump to some more of these super chats. My man Stallion, get the only fan girl talking ish. Oh man. Oh, he's talking about I don't know if you guys saw my live stream on Monday, but so basically, you know, the whole thing that's been going on with Austin,
right?
Holman, the woman on Fox News. I think you guys did do a video on that, right?
Yeah, we did a video on her.
Yeah. So yes, okay. So yeah, all right. So I don't need to go too deep into it. Yeah. So that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
All right, my man Rain, thank you for the super chat. Going to Cali, Colombia for the first time. I can't wait to get my passport. I leave in June. It's funny, I'm not a street dude, so I don't get the sisters. Let me tell you something, man. Doesn't matter what we do as men. If it's not helping their bottom line, it's a problem. End of story. That's it, man. Unfortunately, man. But I'm glad you got your passport. Make sure that you contact my man Andre for a consultation in Cali, Colombia. If you end up going to Medellin, you're gonna need to hit me up. Definitely hit me up.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Come on, man.
Sorry, I still have a little nasal congestion, so I had to hit some nasal spray so I could come through
worries,
for you guys.
Thanks for the clarification. I'm new to the Tip Network. Only been sub for a couple of days. No worries, brother. No worries, man. I'm just glad that you subbed, though, man.
I have to.
Interesting that he takes a back seat on black issues. I mean, listen, like you gotta.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, brother.
I get very uncomfortable when we're talking about like that type of stuff, like anything that's race related.
Yeah,
I prefer to do entertainment and have fun. So like there was a video that Grover went in on a black lady, and the sister started coming at me, and I didn't really say anything. I was just saying like,
Standing there.
So we have another video coming up where Grover's once again addressing a black lady, and I'm like, peace out. I'm gonna go behind
it. He said, peace out.
I'm not dealing with this.
Well, I mean, look, I'm a believer that we can use everything that we have, right? If Scott feels like he doesn't want to beat her, then we're gonna show on camera that he really doesn't want to beat her for that issue, right? We're gonna, like the 5 heartbeats when they got in an argument and then they made that a part of the show. So Scott doesn't want to be there when we talk about black issues. And there was a lady, and she was talking about reckless about Passport Bros, and I was just like, I keep decorum, but after a while, enough is enough of just lies, because it's just enough's enough. So I was gonna go in on Scott, and I was like, listen, if you felt uncomfortable for the other stuff, you might want to step off. And he was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to be here. And so we just filmed it. We just filmed the interaction and just went with it, because we are content creators, But
there's also a story here is that there was a short that I did, and it was talking about this guy over in New York. He had an axe, and he was like threatening people, but then again, the guys or the people that were there were that actually started it first, and he was let go. He didn't have any kind of trouble, and he was a black man. And so somebody ripped one of my shorts, and the way I had the short, you got to go on our YouTube channel and look at it. It's very unbiased. Like I was just giving the news story, like where this guy went in there, but there's another context to the story, but the mainstream media is trying to push this narrative.
Right.
And somehow this person, who happens, I found out was a divestor, and Grover is the one that was educating me what divestors are. I'm just like totally just, this is new to me, right? Like I don't know anything, but she happened to rip my content and then put it on her channel, and then she had like a bunch of other videos that was like divestor related, but was like not good. Like I don't know, it was just weird. Like
her channel,
my first experience with that. Yeah,
her channel was called the Naker Zone, NAKER Zone.
Oh boy,
and it was just. And when I seen it, Scott was like, I don't know, what should we do? I said, no, we're going to get it taken down. I said, nothing from my channel is going to be used just to denigrate black men at all. No, period. And like, I'm pretty open. Like, if you want to use some content for fair use, I'm not going to say anything. It's like, use it. Just make sure. Like somebody used a very big content creator used our thumbnail during their stream, and I just hit him. I hit him respectfully on Twitter. I said, listen. Like, we take pride in what we do, and we spend a lot of time on our thumbnails. Could you please just credit us for that's our thumbnail, and feel free to use it all you want, but they used our thumbnail. So what basically they were doing a voiceover, and they just voiced over our thumbnail for hours. It was our passport. It was one of our Passport Bro videos. And this is somebody who's like 100-some thousand, 100-some thousand, or maybe 72,000 subs. And, and you know what? It was a really good, a good situation. Like I approached him, like, approach somebody. I wasn't mad. I just wanted to point out that we spent a lot of time on it. Scott spent 3 hours on this thumbnail, and it's credited us that. And he pinned our channel in this chat, and some people came over, so I'm fine with it.
Right.
So I don't have a problem with someone using our content, but you're not going to use my content to denigrate black men.
Right.
And I don't listen. I'm a man, but I'm also a black man, and and even when I go in on sisters who act a certain way, I want them to win. I want them to change, and I want them to win.
Right.
Like it's a shame that men have to go out of country to find women who meet the criteria of more traditional women. When the black women in the 1960s in this country were the most traditional women in the country.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
now I'm talking like Uncle Kevin now, but you know.
No. I mean, I completely get it, man. And before you continue, because I want you to hold it right there, I just got to read this super chat. Is there anyone doing consultation for Jamaica? Dude, I'm Jamaican, man. Yes, man. Listen, yes, Black Bodies. I thank you for the super chat, but come on, yeah, man, hit me up. I got you all day, man. All right, now, yeah. So back in the 1960s, that you were saying, right? The sisters were the most submissive. So
yeah.
So
I don't know if they were the most submissive because I wasn't there.
Well, not most submissive. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. They were submissive at that particular time. Like they were on their man's program.
Well, here's the thing, and this is funny because my mom was born in the 40s, and she told me they tried to sell her feminism, and my mom rejected it, and she said, "Listen, you wanted us to have the ability to go to work and have a career." She's like, "We didn't make enough money. We had 2 incomes in the household anyway. So what are we getting? You're fighting for the right to go to work. I have to work. And, I need to deal with my man because my man is the only person I really have to have my back." My dad was a fierce protector of the family. I mean, of my sisters. He adopted my sisters. So he's a fierce protector of our family unit. And so then when they did break up, my mom never filed child support. They worked it out. And they said, and this is how you know they're both children of the 60s and not the 70s. They said, when I say children of the 60s, they were in that radical, movement. They said, we're not going to involve the government or the white man in our business, period. We're going to handle it as a family like we did before. And so, honestly, the dad side of the family has a lot of respect for my mom because of that. And so my mom's like, my dad's sister still call her their sister. And, in the second wife, they don't do that, but the first wife, they call her sisters, and because of that, and they're like, "Listen, what happened between your dad and your mom has nothing to do with us and your mom because the way she acted, she's the person that we knew she was." So I think that, even look, marriages have always not worked out. It's just that we refused to weaponize the government before. There was child support. There was child support in the 80s, right? My mom did not weaponize the government against my father.
Right.
She refused to do it. She didn't want to see him broken. It just didn't work out. So there's a difference between I want to see you broke and I have vitriol and it's just not working out. You know what I mean? It's just not working out. I tried, you tried. We're better apart. Matter of fact, my dad taught me how to hunt. He taught me how to fish. He taught me how to field dress a hog. I always spent summers with my family on my dad's side if it was in Texas or overseas. He made all of that happen for me. So I got a lot of respect for my father. And I have a lot of respect for my mom, the way they handled that situation, because I could have very easily been isolated from my dad because that's very easy. That's when it was happening and I wasn't. So I grew up functional as a man because I had that guidance and that extra shot of testosterone in my life to say, "Hey, listen, dude, life don't give you nothing." Even when I travel overseas, he'd be like, "Well, nobody owes you nothing over there, just like here." Right. There you get.
Hey, what was his famous line, Grover? "You ain't what?"
Shit. You ain't shit. So I got a crazy investor that says, "What the F is a Bluebook gentleman?" And so I want to give you my definition of it, right? Right. If it's okay. So listen.
Yeah, I was gonna get there, but it's all right. What I realize is that it's no slight to you, but I do it myself. What I realize is like with other content creators, we get into host mode when we see something.
Oh, my bad, man. You're right.
You good because I do the same exact thing. No, go ahead, man. Because it's good. No, go ahead. What's a Bluebook gentleman? Go ahead.
All right. So to me, if I say a Bluebook gentleman is somebody who travels, and their priorities have shifted. Look, when you're a young man and you're traveling, your priorities may be one of two things: business, which I traveled for business, whether it was music or whether it was being a buyer. And I travel, and you travel to meet women, right? And this happened a lot. Maybe you want to meet a wife, a bride, you want to meet different women, and this and that. As you get older, things become secondary and tertiary that were important to you. So like business traveling, after I moved back from Thailand, it wasn't as important for me to go to Thailand and generate any money. Or I lived in Europe for 2 years also. I didn't want to go to Europe and generate money. I just wanted to see Europe. I wanted to see Thailand. I wanted to experience different things and different aspects of it. I went back to Thailand so many times because I'm an instructor in Thai boxing, and I just wanted to touch with my Arjan, and really go out there and train and enjoy some of the guys and do some Thai camps. So as you get older and you get more seasoned, and the rose-colored glasses come off, and you realize that, okay, these are 100% human beings. There's good and bad here, just like everywhere else. And maybe they have some more traditional values here. Maybe some people don't, but you do understand that maybe that feminine aspect that you're looking for is going to be tertiary or fourth. And, you're really traveling for culture. You're traveling for experience. You're traveling to have some great memories. I traveled with a group of gentlemen from 2000 to 2008, where I didn't want to go anywhere. It was such a great time. And so that's kind of like when I say a Bluebook gentleman, you've kind of matured out of the phase of just skirt chasing, and you matured into the phase of really enjoying really not only enjoying the culture, but exploring if this is a place where you're gonna really be able to live and put down roots.
Okay. Now, let me I'm going to keep you right there, Grover. Now, what would be your definition of a passport bro? Your definition.
Okay, so I'm in a Facebook group, and I see a lot of gentlemen come. And to be a passport bro is somebody who maybe just started traveling a few years ago, super excited, don't really know what part of the world that they really want to go to. Maybe they're just going to South America, or they're just going to Southeast Asia, or they're just going to the islands, but they're not like branching out and saying, which some of the brothers do, right? But they're not branching out and saying, hey, I'm going to go all through Europe. And after I go through Europe, I'm going to go maybe to Eastern Europe, or I'm going to go to Moscow and visit Moscow. I mean, before they were at war with Ukraine, right? Or I'm going to go to Mongolia. Like, I'm one of the few people. I haven't met anybody who went to Mongolia for a trip like I have, and I've been twice, and so they haven't really decided what they like about traveling. They just know they like to travel, and maybe the status that comes with traveling is good to them, and maybe it's women is first on their list. Maybe staying in places that they wouldn't be able to stay in if they were doing it at home. Like, I know you can go to Palawan and stay in Palawan in the Philippines at places that would cost $300 a night here, and it's costing $50 a night there. I mean, that's a great lifestyle upgrade for a vacation, right? So, but the bros, in my opinion, don't really quite know what they like about traveling. They just know they like it. They don't quite know what part of the world they want to stay in. They just know that, maybe they just don't need to be in the United States anymore. So I think it's just a maturation period and just maybe a little less time. I mean, I started traveling 30 years ago. So, I kind of look at things differently than somebody who just started.
All right. Excellent explanation, man. Definitely appreciate that. And Scott, like, I want to hear your thoughts on either or. Like, would you say? Let me scratch that. What are your thoughts in general about passport? A passport bro. Let's start there.
My thoughts on passport bros is like a reaction to the development of how Western modern women are using all the advantages they have, from the social media side to economics, to being able to attract more attention from men easier than they did before in the past. So now they go in their DMs, they got about like 10 or 20 different guys, and we're talking about like an average female. So that automatically boosts or inflates their ego, where they think they're more valuable on the dating market than they really are. But that's why I really like Kevin Samuels, because he always tells the ladies, like, you can't have it all. And it seems like a good amount of modern women that I've talked to think that they can have it all without realizing that there have to be some trade-offs. So passport bros to me is like a reaction to that, is like, why do I need to be here as a passport bro and deal with all this resistance and friction just to get a date and to get someone that wants to acknowledge me for who I am, when I can go to another country where the females there are still embodying those traditional feminine attributes. So a lot of the modern women talking points that I see, and that I can, it's like too much of a masculine edge. It's like, we can do this, we can do that, we can do it just as good as you guys. But it's coming from a very ego-based way of wanting to get into a relationship, because when I really get into deeper conversations with these ladies, they kind of want to be like, you know, they want to go to work, but they still want their guy to provide for them. It's like, it's nice for them. So it's like having to sift through all that messy modern woman theology, I guess, is the best way to say it, and just get them to be more feminine. So that's how I see the passport bros. It's like, why are we here, since we're guys, we're more logical, why do we want to deal with all this when we can just go outside of the country and talk to women that appreciate us and that appreciate our masculinity without calling it the without it being like being patriarchal, you know, that we're upholding the patriarchy. That's what I was trying to say, upholding the patriarchy. So that's how I see the passport bros. And it's just so crazy, because I've been going on Twitter, I've been looking at the comment section, I've jumped on other people's YouTube channels, and I'm seeing a big backlash where there's passport bro haters now. And that's just really odd to me. Is like, there seems like that no one wants to really have a conversation about what their actual issues are, why men want to go to other countries. So, I mean, if a guy really wants to go trick or whatever, he can do it here. I mean, he can go to Bunny Ranch out into Las Vegas. I mean, there's like other sites too that you can probably go on to. Like, it's not that hard to get to those aspects of the underworld when it's really like a stone throw away in the United States. So anyway, that's my answer. I know it was long-winded.
No. Trust me. I loved your answer, and your thoughts on Blue Book Gentleman. I'll hold you right there.
The Blue Book Gentleman is a term that Grover came up with, so I'm kind of like still adjusting to it. So a Blue Book Gentleman, from how Grover described it, really makes sense, because I'm gonna say this, like, guys and females, it's like we are attracted to sex sells. Like, simply put, sex sells. Yep. So when we go to another country, we automatically want to hook up with different girls in other countries. But that doesn't mean that girls, when they go travel, they're not going looking for some foreign guy. Like, how many girls have you heard say, "Oh, I love this guy because of his accent"? You know, like, it happens all the time.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So the Blue Book Gentleman, from how Grover described it, is about how a person matures and takes off the rose-colored glasses. Because in other countries, there are real dangers. There's different cultures, and you're going to get into a culture shock if you don't understand the mores and norms and those cultural standards that could get you in big trouble if you happen to violate one of those cultural standards. So the Blue Book Gentleman, to me, is like being able to get past our primal base human behavior instincts of wanting to procreate and looking at the world and experiencing the world through like a way where it's enriching one's life and being able to enculture yourself in that culture.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I got a little nerdy there. I did.
Oh, no.
I like sociology and psychology and stuff, so that's like my thing.
No worries, man. No worries, man. I think all of us have a little bit of nerd in us, man. It's all good. And thank you, gentlemen, for both your explanations, man. So I definitely appreciate that. I see a super chat. Shout out to my man Drees TV for the 504. New Orleans is in the building. All right. No, after official review, passport bros are brothers who got passports during and or post quarantine. Forget a label. Boa noite.
Boa noite. Good night.
Boa noite.
So it's like good night.
Yeah. He's basically saying like peace. Forget them. That's basically what he's trying to say.
Well, I think that why do people put labels on things? People put labels on things to categorize stuff.
Absolutely.
Because our brains need to categorize things to deal with it. And so, when I mean, when I started traveling, when I started traveling, 3% of African Americans had passports who weren't in the military. And then I remember looking up and it was 17%. And I was like, wow, when did this happen? And I noticed that as I started traveling, especially in Thailand, more and more brothers, and I'd meet brothers from like New Orleans. I met one of the guys who anchors Tip Passports, who now lives in Chiang Mai, Thailand. I met him. He's from Atlanta. I met him in Thailand, you know, and it turned out, small world, he lived an hour away from me. So we moved back and we became friends. And then when he moved back to Thailand, I said, okay, I'm going to retire. I said, well, you know, if you want to do the work, this is a good opportunity for you to have something to do, you know, with your retired at 45 self. But no, I understand that, forget a label. But I think that, you know, we label things to put it in order. I mean, I'm an operations manager by trade, you know, people operations, tech operations. I label everything anyway, and it's just the way my brain works. But I don't think one is better than the other. I just look at it as a maturation period. One of our first conversations we had was like, I remember I was saying, hey, I know a lot of dudes that say, shut up, dude, you're traveling just for women. And they're like, I'm really not. I'm traveling for a purpose now, you know, besides women. But when I was 23, I was traveling for women. You know, I'm not gonna come out here and act like I was 20. I mean, listen, they put me on an airplane and sent me to Japan when I was 18. As soon as I fit, it was women. The stocky women, as soon as the game was over, right? So I'm not going to act like I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying I'm kind of aged out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And there's a, you know, speaking of 23, you know, Austin Holman, you know, that's my dude. And so, and I always had this conversation with him, and I'm like, dude, like I'm about to be 38. Like, yes, I'm still fairly young, but I've also been traveling since I was 3, and then also like I have like a you know, promotion background. So I started doing like, you know, events when I was 14 years old, and like the first party that I did. So we had like what was called like a street team. Basically, a street team is basically a group of kids or whatever, and obviously we had financial backers, but we were the ones that were selling the tickets and getting people to, you know, to come to the event and stuff like that. So like the first time I think I had sold like 30 tickets, right? So at a 30 of those tickets, like I want to say like a good like 20, anywhere between 20 to 23 of them were all ladies. So like I already know, like I got 23 girls, you know, that I like that are coming to that party that I could talk to, right? And then like I think our total count was like around 750 or whatever. Anyway, what I'm saying is that I've had means and opportunity to do my thing in the States, so I don't need to go outside of the States. So now that like I'm approaching 40, like now like I'm more like, okay, like I want to see how things work. I want to see more of the culture side. And if I run across a woman, okay, cool. If I don't, okay, cool. So that's just, you know, that's just how I am now. But when I was 23, I was on playoff mode, you know? You know what I mean?
Hey, I used to tell people, I used to treat it like it was like we had 2 minutes left and I had to score a touchdown, man.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, all right, listen, we're gonna go in there, we're gonna buy a bottle of liquor, and we're gonna make this happen. Right. You call it a play. Yeah. Every man, I tell you, every Friday, like my boys would hit me up like, yo, what's the play? Absolutely, man. So kind of going back into it, because you mentioned 23, and I just want to touch on Austin Holman, and the situation that happened in Brazil and everything that's just going on in the media, right? And so my question is to you both. Now, Austin has since already made the apologies for the miscommunication and not really understanding I don't want to say he didn't understand the culture of Brazil, but I think he didn't understand how they would get offended, if that makes sense, right? So
So now, like with the people still coming after him, what's the play, or why do you think like they are still coming after him, even though he apologized, and not in one language but two? It was in English and in Portuguese.
So you're asking me what the play is? The play is over. He's already apologized. He's done what he has to do.
Yep.
He should go on. He should follow some content rules. He should have everybody he makes content with sign a waiver, have the waiver in 2 languages, and have them understand, saying us to, hey, I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel. Is this okay? And he should make content. If he's going to make content, he should continue on with his life. You can't sit here and just, this is not Opus Dei Catholicism. He shouldn't just whip himself for the rest of his life. Do I think? Listen, I said this when he asked the question. I'm around a lot of Brazilian cats, some older than me, some around my age, and when they see it, they said, I don't know why he's doing it. Because I had hipped him to Austin Holloman. I said, here's a brother who really likes Brazil. He moved there. He taught himself Portuguese, and they're impressed with him. And they say, look at him. He's a good looking dude. He needs to go down because they're all Brazilian jiu-jitsu cats, right? They're like, he needs to go down to Gracie school, or go down to a school and do some Brazilian jiu-jitsu and get around some dudes and get a brotherhood of Brazilians, right? And that was their, and they would always say, hey, tell him to do that. And I was like, I have no idea how to contact this guy. It's like,
and I said you should have hit me, but at that point, like the fire was already lit.
Right. And then they came to me and they said, why did he say that about women? And I looked at it and I explained it to them. And they said, yeah, because he seems like he really loves Brazil. And so if you wanted to give him bail as a person, you could give him bail. But also, they live in the United States and they're around primarily. They know how I talk when I say like, oh man, she this is fat, or she got tail, or this, that, or that, this, that. When they're around me and they know how I talk, right? And there's an ultimate. They also know I'm a very respectful person, and they know I'm my family's from the South. They know he's from the South, so they were confused.
Yeah.
And then when I talked to them, they said, yeah, we figured it was like that. They weren't upset. Yeah. They weren't mad. They just said, and this is before anything happened. This is when I see the initial video, because they were watching his content from here.
Yeah.
Like they watch my content.
Yeah, gotcha.
And so then they said, yeah, I can see how but it kind of makes it look bad, because like, it's like, is he making, like, if he spend this much time with American women, why won't he spend that much time with Brazilian women? It's almost like you don't need to bring up the comparison. Right. You don't need to bring up the comparison. And I would always be careful. Like, and then this is the thing that really upset them. People in American press were categorizing those women as prostitutes. Right. And they weren't. Those were regular ladies sitting on the beach.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Those. Sorry, my fault. Go ahead.
And so people, then it turns into, they twist his words, turns into like, oh, well, all the women are prostitutes. And that's why they're upset. So I don't think there's nothing more he could say. I think he needs to be quiet and let dead dogs lay. He's not in Brazil. What more can he do?
Yeah, no, he's doing this thing. He's doing this thing in Thailand. I mean, he's definitely upset about it, but he's moved on. And I mean, yeah, I would be upset too if people are, like they've said some heinous things, heinous accusations about him, and I definitely think like those need to be addressed in due time.
Yeah, but not right now.
No, not right now. Not right now. And Scott, what are your thoughts?
I just think that from the criticism he's getting, like I agree with Grover, just not understanding the culture, especially that he probably needs to be around more Brazilian guys to form that community. But one thing I would like actually to touch upon is like when I see people spinning a narrative in a certain way, it's part of the it's kind of from like a woke liberal mindset. And I'm kind of liberal too, so just let you know about this. But like, it's like it's a tactic where you agitate and you agitate by bombarding social media with one side of the narrative, and you try to be as loud as you can. So that's actually a tactic from Saul Alinsky, which, like, if you know anything in history about politics, like it's one way that from the left side is the way to get an issue addressed is by agitating and causing as much negative press as you can, so you can turn the opinion in one direction. So I really think that he just needs to ignore it, just focus on creating content, work on establishing his networks in those different countries. And from editing, since you guys now know that I edit for El Guapo, Hinata, who happens to be with Brazil, Hinata with Brazil with Hinata Lopez, she said in her interview is for Austin to return to Brazil. So when he does return to Brazil, is to learn from those mistakes and form a network there with going to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, just like Grover said.
I
ignore the agitators.
No, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And one of the things that I'll say that what both of you mentioned, building a network in that, in that country with like the local men. And I think, and I think not just him, but I think that men who travel in general should do that, because one of the things that I did, like I have a network of locals in Medellin, so like I have like 3 different drivers that that can bring me around at any time, any place, wherever, you know what I mean, and I hang out with them, and I go into like the like the local areas and things like that, and it's good to know that, because you want to be immersed in the culture, because we got to remember, like Brazil, Colombia, Thailand, Philippines, wherever we at, like that's not our country, that's their country,
right?
And so you want to make sure that you have like boots on the ground, if you will, for situations like this, because now everyone can be like, no, like, no, that's not what happened, whatever, because they could be the voice of reason and like, and be like, no, like this didn't happen, like I was there, whatever, you know what I mean?
It's impossible for them to say that he's out here exploiting Brazilian women if he has a network of Brazilian men and who are going to be fierce protectors of their women.
Right.
So that's one thing that I would say, like, similar to you, when I go to Thailand, I have a gentleman who's like, I call him Uncle Manu, and he picks me up from the airport, and if I want to go any place far, he'll drive me around. I mean, I know how to get around in Thailand, so it's a little different for me because I was there for so long, but still, I haven't been there in a few years, so I need to, like, I still gotta, like, I'm a great believer in checking in.
I was just about to say you got to check in. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yo, what's up? Like, I went there during there was a build up to a coup. Thailand has it.
Yeah.
Thailand had a coup every other year for the longest time. And I remember I came in with my little yellow fresh polo shirt, looking like a chubby bumblebee, and Manoop said, "Brother, what are you, a yellow shirt? What are you doing?" He said, "Take that off, man. These people about to go to war with each other. You walking around with their colors on." And I'm like, oh. But see, I checked in with him. He put me up on game right away. You have to check in with folks. And now, how do you check in? You establish that network to check in.
Exactly.
Awapo said something that I believe in. Like,
hold on. Oh man, beautiful eyes, El Guapo, man. I was just talking about you, bro. I sent you a message on Instagram. I'm trying to get in touch with you, man. But salute to you, man. And salute to the Tip Network, El Guapo. Yeah, man. Thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you for showing up, brother. El Guapo's been a great supporter of ours. Really since he came on the scene, he kind of like recognized us. We mod on his channel. It's really a pleasure to be with such great content creators.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was on a few panels with El Guapo, as I was mentioning earlier, on Richie Mack. My man Richie Mack, Zoom to Thailand's channel, man. So,
I was gonna say that.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that El Guapo and Zoom to Thailand, Richie Mack hopped onto our live stream when Grover was doing the passport pimping or simping. Yeah. So that was just amazing that they both came on and interacted.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Richie Mack is my dude, man. Richie Mack is my dude. All right, he said I'll check IG. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, for sure.
No,
I completely agree with having that network, man. Having that network for sure. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, gentlemen, another question, and I kind of lost it. That's my bad.
Well, the thing is though, like I liked how El Wapo said he established this network, and I kind of did the same thing. Like when I first went there, I was like, okay, this dude's a security guard at the hotel I was staying at. Before I would rent houses and stuff, and I'd be like, hey man, let me tip you a little, let me buy you a beer when you're off. Let me tell me what's up with where did it comes with good security. Oh well, my brother runs this place and my brother runs this place. Then I realized they were calling each other brothers, just like we call each other brothers, right?
Yeah. Yep. He's just saying like his friend, yeah.
Right. And so I would go to these places, and he would walk me in there and be like, "Hey, this is your guy, right?" And so look, what does it cost you? A drink, a tip, but then all of a sudden something popped off where there was a situation where one of my friends was about to get himself in a lot of trouble with the security folks. And people don't know this about security in Thailand, but if you fight one of them, you fight every security from the bar on that street. So, and they will come out like the Gracie train, and they're going to rat pack you. There is no fighting fair, and they all know Muay Thai, and they're tough, right? And so they come.
Here's the Vietnamese thing: it's not 1-on-1; it's 5-on-1.
Yeah,
remember that. There's no fighting.
Oh
fair.
yeah, no, See, like I'm not. See, I wouldn't mess around in Asia at all. Like a lot of those, like a lot of the countries in Asia, like they have that mentality, like they don't want to fight, but if you're gonna mess with one of them, you gotta mess with
them all. So this dude comes out and he's sitting there, and I'm telling him, "Shut up!" Right? I'm just like, "Bro, shut up!" Like I don't know what's going on because my tie isn't that tight.
Yeah.
But I'm telling the guy, you just need to shut up because people are looking at you, and he's drunk, right? And the guy walks up to me, he says, "Grover, I'm gonna tell these guys to let you take your friend home." And so I just grabbed him and took him home, but he was done. He was gonna get the snot beat out of him. But the guy who I'm always cool with, will always buy a drink, I always tip. If I get some extra food, hey man, are you hungry? You're out here all night. Tell me about your life, this or that, right? We've got a rapport. Years later, I go out to the bars with him when I was drinking. I go out to Thai clubs with him. I go places with this guy because he's my guy. Then he says, "Hey, whenever you get a car, get this guy. This guy will never rip you off." And now I got my driver. I had three people I would deal with, but Mr. Dang, he was an older gentleman. He's retired now. He doesn't drive anymore. But he says, "Yeah, use these guys." And then they also look forward to you because economy is very important in Southeast Asia. In Southeast Asia, they have a very closed economy. People do business with each other. You buy your food from the same place, everything. So when you get into that economy, if I had business that I was doing, like I was like, man, I need to go buy some shirts bulk because I was on the side. I would sell polo shirts bulk, when I come back. Right. And they're like, "Oh yeah, here we go here, go to here. Here's a guy. This is the best price you're gonna get already." Pre-negotiated. I cut him a little money, cut him a little bit of what I'm going to sell it for. A lot of money, and so that's just called having a network.
Yeah, I agree. And there's nothing wrong with spending a couple of dollars at least just so that you can have that peace of mind, right? Because the thing is, like, that's their country, and hey, you know what? You buy something to eat, you buy them a beer, whatever the case is. Like, it's gonna be, it's gonna be a hell of a lot less than what you're gonna pay in the States anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. So if you let's just say like the beer and the meal may come up to like let's say $5 or something like that. Like, it's not that, you know what I mean? Like, it's better to have that peace of mind. Mm-hmm. It's better to have that peace of mind and have that network. Like my driver went, anytime when I, come to Medellin, one of my drivers, my main driver, when he picks me up, like we get something to eat right away, or if I've already eaten, I just say, hey man, here's some money, man, go get you something to eat, and it's all good.
Yeah, it's absolutely the proper way to travel.
Yeah.
There's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. It's the proper way to travel.
Yeah, and absolutely. And like now, like I go into, now I'm able to like go into areas like where a lot of locals aren't at all. Like no locals really. And I'm comfortable there.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
Yeah.
I haven't spent a lot of time in Colombia, so it's one of the places. But before I go to Colombia, I'll go to I'll be going to Oaxaca. I'll be going to the family's hometown and spending time with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
There we go. Now you said well, Oaxaca's like in the north, right? Like by the mountains, right?
Oh, Oaxaca's in the mountains, but it's south. It's
south. Okay, sorry about that.
It's south, and it's Oaxaca is by Guerrero and Puebla, and
Okay.
Guerrero is where the largest concentration of Afro Mexicanos are.
Okay.
Well, people from Oaxaca are darker skinned, shorter, natives. Even though my wife isn't really that short or dark skinned, so it's hilarious. I always tease her and say, "Are you really from Oaxaca?" But they're probably the best food in Mexico. Super spicy. If you like spicy food, you've gone to the right place. They also have
spicy food, man.
They have a huge Day of the Dead festival. So my ideal, if I was going to go there and do content, I would go and I would want to document the Day of the Dead festival there, and really document how important it is. It's a very important holiday to them. It's very important, and people don't really know what it is, but their ancestors come back and they believe their ancestors come back and visit them that day, as long as they have a picture in their house.
Oh, wow.
And they have a shrine, they have a picture, and the flowers that they put out is so they can smell their way to their house. That's why they put the flowers out that smell a certain way. And then they have food for them and they visit. So, I thought that was, anything when you're paying respect to the people who came, pretty cool, And so, and that's a part of traditionalism that is lost here. How many times do people really yearly pay respect to the people who's passed on, who enriched their lives or sacrificed for them? It doesn't really happen here.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely correct on that. I had an interview last night, and shout out to Sweet Melody Media. And so after maybe about 2.5 hours, about 2 hours or whatever, they opened the panel. And so these two gentlemen were having a conversation. And so in the midst of the conversation, what was spoken about was that outside of the West and these different countries, they celebrate, they just celebrate just to celebrate, right? And so in Colombia, they have 26, they have 26 holidays a year that they celebrate and that they take off from work. Outside of the West, they value family more than work, because I was telling them, for me, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, but I got to start getting everyone on board starting from April, May.
Uh-huh.
But with my ex, her mom could say, hey, we're having a get together. 3 hours later, everybody's there. Everybody's there within 3 hours.
Popping in 3 hours. You have a get together and it lasts 2 days.
Right, exactly. And so it's just so different, because the tradition has, it's just lost here. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that the tradition here is just lost, man.
And these are some of the reasons why I talk about things like this, right? Mm-hmm. I understand why, some of the cats, they go overseas and they see this tradition and they're like, man, when I was young, we used to really do it big on Thanksgiving, and we haven't got together for Thanksgiving at all, and that's why they want that. The thing that gets me the most about the detractors of the Passport Brothers, is that, like Scott said, they're not asking the why. The women aren't asking the why. The men who are detracting aren't asking the why. They want to make it seem like there's a bunch of non-select dudes who can't do anything, who are dusty. Right. Like weaving and sandling, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Say shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson.
Yeah, man. Shout out to O'Shea. Shout out to O'Shea.
That's not the truth. The truth is I've never had a problem speaking with women. I've never had a problem with attracting women. Yep. And you can ask Scott. I was 150 pounds heavier, and I thought I was the bee's knees. I go up to him with my Biggie Small swagger, breathing heavy, how you doing? So I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't traveling for that. I was traveling because that feeling. I found another place besides my grandma's house where people were together once a week.
Yeah.
Where when you say dinner's at 6:00 and people stop what they're doing, there is no video games. There is no talking on the phone. There is no social media. Stop and eat dinner at 6:00.
Right.
And then go back. Like how, like, and then we have the nerve to call these people backwards.
Right.
Where that's actually not backwards. That's like forward. We're backwards. If I got a little computer that's telling me that I can't talk to my mama while she didn't cook dinner, there's a problem. And so I think that's why a lot of brothers are attracted to that lifestyle. They get over there and they're like, wow. Because if it wasn't, there wouldn't be so many dudes who are relocating.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the expats are growing more and more. It's growing a lot, and you're right. Like we yearn, we yearn for that tradition. We yearn for that. We yearn for that. The fact that like there's so much focus on family, because most people, if you ask them like how many times like do they see their family, in a year, like it's probably like less than 5. Sometimes it may even be less than 3, because everyone is so hyper focused on work and whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like every Sunday it was a get together, cookout, grandma, cousins, auntie, everybody was there. You know what I mean? Like every Sunday, no matter what.
I can't wait. It's supposed to happen this year, later on this year. Hopefully it will. I can't wait to move my mom into the house with us.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait. And and then of course the wife always says we got to keep room for the Chino so he can come when he wants. But like, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I can't wait to be in a house with like, and I don't want my mom cooking and all types of stuff anymore. She did that. I'll cook for mom. Yeah. I just want to spend time with that library of knowledge.
Absolutely.
She's born in the late 40s. Look what she's seen. She deserves the dignity of being able to be with her son. I mean, she's already lost a daughter, so I just want her to be in that life, with us. So, and I'm lucky because it's a total agreement, and this is the difference between a traditional woman and a non-traditional woman.
Right.
Total 100% agreement from the wife. The wife is like, listen, mom thinks she's paying rent. Why does she think she's going to pay any part of the bills? We got this.
Right.
She's already worked. She just come and just enjoy. And and I want you to think about that. I mean, but they get along more than me and mom get along probably. So that's different,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she shouldn't have to pay anything. I mean, she raised you, and now it's time for you to take care of her, and that's how it should be. Family, family stay with family.
Yeah, and that's it's a little different than not always like so that's one of the things.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So what would you say, and Scott, I know that you've only been to like 3 countries, but Scott, what would you say out of the 3 countries was the most impactful for you, and why?
I would say Mongolia. Yeah, I would have to say Mongolia. I don't know. Cusco's are people that are living near Rainbow Mountain in Peru was a trip too. And the reason why I say that is Mongolia or like Rainbow Mountain in Peru is because there are people that are still living the very, very traditional lifestyles where they're like the Andes Indians. Yeah. So we're up like 20,000 feet. And if you ever walked up in an elevation of 20,000 feet, you're going to, especially if you have muscles on you or you have a lot of body weight, you're going to get tired really quickly, very tired quickly. And these people are like just walking like it's normal. They're walking up hills that's 25,000 feet in elevation. And it's just absolutely insane. Right. And then the Mongolians, when we went over to the yurt, which happen to be like the nomadic lifestyle where it's their homes, they have like 5 different yurts, which would be 5 different like tents, big tents. And they actually have a TV in there. They have their kids' medals all over. They're living a nomadic lifestyle. They got their livestock. They got hundreds of sheep and horses, or not horses, but sheep and goats and other livestock around. And they're just living off the land. So like, to me, those are the most impactful countries where I got to see how people lived where they embrace the traditional cultures while at the same time using the newer technologies to still preserve their traditions. So that to me was like kind of a trip. Like, wow, these are how these people live.
Right. All right, man. And for you, Grover,
it's definitely Mongolia. Mongolia, like I always say, going to Mongolia was like being transported to a different dimension, because I just didn't understand how the culture was going to affect me. Like the biggest rage in Mongolia is salsa dancing, so people love to dance salsa.
Really?
Yeah, and like me and Scott, we actually befriended the cat who like brought salsa to Mongolia like 10, 12
Shout
years.
out to Ehab.
Yeah, Ehab, brother Ehab. He's a Sudanese cat from the UK, and he was a champion salsa dancer. And he went out there and he just wanted to dance, taught someone how to dance salsa. And
by the way, he's a big guy too.
Yeah, a big smooth guy, salsa. And then, and then they taught people. And all of a sudden, there's like 9 salsa clubs going on, or like how just different cultures there all got along, and they were really cool. Or just to like the culture of Mongolia, like you step on someone's foot, you got to shake their hand instantly, or it might be some ruckus. And so it's like, or just the way, like, you know, you're a guest, you eat first. Somebody hands you a cup, you grab it from the bottom. I was just really fascinated with the different cultural aspects of it. And of course, Genghis Khan came from there, and he conquered the known world, you know, except for Japan.
Grover, explain why they want you to hand over the cup by under the cup.
Oh, so you can't use it as a weapon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's warrior culture there.
Yeah, it's a super warrior culture. And I mean, hey, I almost like, God, I had to call Scott. There was a few dudes who was getting heated at me because the ladies we were with were arguing, and they were arguing with some guys. I didn't really understand what was going on. And I said, hey, why are you talking to these guys like this? And this guy looks at me and says, don't talk when Mongolians are talking. I was like, what? And then they kind of bucked up, and then Scott came up. And so then it was a little more even, and we worked it out so there wasn't a conflict. But you know, it's just like, it was just a real place. The nomadic family was awesome. I got drunk off of fermented horse milk, which is crazy. I had to take a nap. So it was just a dope place. But I think the people were most enlightening, that how open and friendly they were, because like my first time there, because I went twice, Scott went once. The first time I went there by myself, the way they don't have Uber or Lyft, so when you want to ride, you just kind of flag somebody down on the street. They'll give you a ride for a few dollars, because you know it's the coldest capital in the world. It could be like -26. You need a ride home or you freeze to death.
Right.
And so I flagged this dude down. He gave me a ride to, you know, I was staying on the outskirts of town, and we talked. Found out his sister lived in Sacramento, which is, you know, a couple hours away from me, and we had a conversation. He told me how many times he had a petition to come to America, but they keep denying his visa, but he's going to try again, you know. And then I told him, he gave me a ride, you know, to the outskirts of town, and he said, listen, man, I had such a great conversation. I don't want any money, man, because I would have never met you. So I gave him my information, and I told him, listen, when you get your visa, you come out here. If I'm in the Bay Area, I'll give you a ride to your sister's house, man, and we'll have another conversation. Yep. And that's the type of connection I made there with people. And this is just regular cats. It was just a really good time. I mean, I'm in contact with folks there still. I mean, there's a lot of Cubans who live there. What was that? Yeah, Cubans at Nazca. What's that restaurant? Were they from Peru?
Nazca, Peru. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's Peruvians there. Great restaurant. Nice. God, that restaurant was fire.
Yeah, you guys have to check out Nazca in Ulaanbaatar.
Which is Mongolia's thing. If you go to Mongolia, I mean, we shot like 3 podcasts there, you know, and we had a great time. I will say that Mongolia was probably the best place I went as far as just cultural. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And a hot tip too is, do not record. If you have your camera out, do not record towards the Parliament building. Just to let you know.
Oh yeah, we got
don't do that.
we were recording towards the Parliament building, and state police came out and was like, yo,
No, it wasn't state police, it was military.
Oh yeah, it's like, yo,
Oh, with the military. Oh wow.
they was like, don't do that, and I was like,
Yeah. Oh.
okay.
Yeah.
And they asked us what we were doing, and I was like, we're from the States, and we've never been here. We're just interested. So they were cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, you guys mentioned you guys mentioned Renata earlier, man.
Yeah.
How you doing, Hinata?
Yeah.
Shout out to Brazil.
Yeah, her channel is awesome, man.
Yeah, her channel is awesome. I'm actually going to be having her on my channel next week Monday. So
Awesome.
That's going to be going to be a great conversation. So I'm very excited to have her on. Definitely going to be good, man. So we are winding down. I want to get into the chat. So some people have made some comments, and I just wanted to get you gentlemen's feedback on this one. So shout out to my man, how do you say that? Leopoldo Rango? Leopoldo. Okay, thank you. Okay. Why do these dating coaches hate passport brothers? I lost everything to my ex-wife, kids, house, etc. They still want us to stick around for the nonsense. Marry my new traditional wife in Ghana.
All right. So I don't know. I don't really know many dating coaches. Closest thing to a dating coach who I'm friends with is Ayunde Gordon, authentic, and he's not. And he'll
authentic alphas.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We rock with him. He'll tell us he's anything but a dating coach. He'll be like, for real, dude. I'm not a dating coach. I want to give him information. He loves traveling. He loves passport bros.
Oh yeah, he's a passport guy too. Yeah.
Because he used to spend half the year in Mexico and come back and forth. I don't know many people who would consider themselves dating coaches. I would say this. Maybe it's a financial thing. Like if you can't,
the same thing. Yeah.
If you spend your money to get on an airplane, you're not going to spend your money to talk to on him. Maybe, I don't know. I can't answer.
I see it. I see it that way also, but I also see it that like not every guy has the means to actually travel like that. Mm-hmm. So or they may not really be able to get a passport for one reason or another, right? So they have to stay stateside,
right?
So I do think that dating coaches, the ones that are, well, I don't want to say dating coaches, like I want to say if you're helping gentlemen in all aspects of their lives, right? So like if you're helping them out, being a better communicator, being a better leader, helping them, motivating them, for their physical health, financial health. Like if you're helping them in all aspects like that, then yes, absolutely, I completely agree. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Oh, sorry, my fault. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I wasn't saying anything.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Loyalty says, I think their hate on passport bros by people who claim to be a passport bro that exploit women. They give the genuine passport bro a bad name. Thoughts on that one? I'll actually start with you, Scott.
I mean, number one, you have to get evidence that they're actually doing that thing. Number two, let's say if they are doing that thing, then whoever they're with in that other country, who's saying that person's not willing to engage with them in a business transaction. So like, I don't know, that's just like, it's too superficial to really analyze without understanding the full context of the situation between the two parties. And so like, yeah, I don't understand the hate. To me, I see it as like, there's more competition that's happening. Right. And so women are very afraid. I mean, think about this, like when I speak with women, they're afraid about their age. They're afraid of getting older. And now you're hearing about guys going over to other countries to marry other women, to date other women. Now it's even more fierce competition with them where they're fighting with Father Time, but now they're competing with foreign women that they know that they're having a harder time to compete with because the programming of living in the United States or Western ideology is really pushing this narrative of strong, independent, I don't need no man. And especially from my own dating experiences, and I love American women, I'm being a pander right there, but it's like the sign language is strong. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right is really strong. So that's my answer.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then, all right, you, sir, Grover.
All right, so I would go to Thailand about years ago, and they would have the NGOs there, the nonprofits and they would like take pictures of you just talking to a woman and say that you were a trafficker. They would take pictures of you, they took pictures of this guy buying a kid some food and said he was doing something with that child. And so I always tell people, you have to be careful of what you're being fed by folks with an agenda. Are there people who do bad things? Yes, they are, but most of them by far don't look like passport bros. Let's just be real. If you look at the demographics, if you're looking at somebody who's exploiting children, it's usually a 64-year-old person who doesn't look like me or Scott. So
What are you trying to say, Grover?
I'm trying to say it's usually the FBI says a trafficker is a 64-year-old Caucasian with a lot of money. That's what the FBI says, not me, right? And so when you look at that, they were always pushing this narrative of exploitation. Internet was big right after 9/11. It really got hot, and so I always look at this when I see that they say passport. I want to see proof, and I want to see evidence that it's being done. If someone has proof of it, they get caught, then they should go to jail and be pressed to the full extent of the law. But statistically, it's impossible to assign bad behavior to one person to a whole group of folks. But they do this all the time, and they do it in my community all the time because they would try to act like just an analogy. They try to act like Black America is like 80% in jail, whereas less than 1.5% of Black Americans are incarcerated, population-wise. And so they're doing the same thing. Like maybe less than 1% of passport bros are exploiting women in any way, but they're going to try to juxtapose that and use that straw man to do everybody else. Listen, man, the original passport bros were military, and the only thing that they were getting exploited was their money on shore leave. So it is what it is.
So yeah, also there's an anecdotal observation on my part.
Sure.
And I'm a product of a Vietnamese woman and a white father. And my mom, of course, she immigrated over here, so I'm the byproduct of that. And like I said, I'm feeling uncomfortable that I'm even saying this, but it's like I've noticed just me going around the internet and being a ninja watcher, watching everyone in their comment section and how people are engaging with people on Twitter.
Yep.
It seems like it's really hard for me to say, but Black women seem to have a real big issue with passport bros because white women have been knowing that their men have been going overseas and marrying people of other races and creating people like me, So that's the observation I've noticed, and that's all I gotta say.
Scott,
yeah,
Scott,
but it's just what I've noticed. That's what I've noticed.
I appreciate you saying that, Scott, and I know that it was probably like a little bit uncomfortable for you to say, but the thing is that it's the truth, though. It's the truth because the thing is like, and I'll say this: you don't need to respond, Scott. I got this one. But the thing about it is that the sisters have been pushing this false narrative, as even like on the interview with Fox News, like they tried to say that Austin was trying to solicit, and I'm like, what? I'm like, he never mentioned anything about money. He never mentioned anything about money. And if you had watched the video, then you would know that. But they didn't watch the video. All they saw was the comments and the vitriol, and they said, "Oh, he must be a bad guy." And see, and this is what I said on Monday. I said verbatim that people like to read the front cover of the book, but don't like to read the chapters. That is a problem.
That's absolutely.
People are headline readers for sure.
That you got it. That's exactly what I was saying.
I mean, because like the way we do when we create content as content creators, we're focusing on the title and the thumbnail. We're going to be as attention grabbing as we can.
Right.
That's just the name of the game. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, exactly. Yeah, it's the it's the name of the game, right? You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I was on Sweet Melodies. I was on her live stream, and so it said, passport bros are fools. Women are the same everywhere. But like I spoke to Sweet Melody about the title though. Exactly. It was an attention grabber, and so it's like you got to click on here to read the chapters to understand what's going on here. Peel back the layers.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Man, I'll tell you something. Like there's been, and I've seen some big content creators put this out, that the biggest thing, and I almost got bit on it, but I do some research, is that a LGBT group was saying that Aretha Franklin, a natural woman, a trans group that was going to, that was put up by that was apparently put up by a parody Twitter account. And so people are saying that. And so I was about to make a short about it. I was about to call Scott, like, no, Scott, we're doing a tip talk.
Right honestly, I'm glad that I know that. I'm glad that I know that because I wasn't gonna put a video, but I'm in I'm in the Instagram group, and and one of the creators had put that. And I was like, WTF? I'm like, you know what? I'm like, they pushed the goalpost way too far. And then so I'm glad that you told me.
I love Twitter. There's a lot of parody accounts. Just so you feel like you're getting outraged, look at the account and actually make sure it's not a parody account.
Yeah.
I was researching it, and then I was like, see, so we have a process. I clip a whole bunch of stuff, and poor Scott's inbox just gets flooded with like meme, article, meme. And then I sent him 40 things. I said, hey, did you see that third one I sent you, dude? And he'll be like, bro. So, and I had it all clipped into my phone, and then I seen that apparently came from a parody account, and then I went to it, and it was a really credible source, and I was like, all right, erase it all. I mean, because look, if you can't be sure, you shouldn't do it. I mean, we all make mistakes, but
that's true. Yeah.
Well, it's like them going after Austin, right? They need to get all the facts, but they're pushing a narrative, an agenda.
Exactly. Because the woman on Fox, she was like, "Oh, well, Austin said, oh, you're gonna come home with me tonight," and I was like, "Yeah," but he didn't say anything about no, he said nothing about anything financial whatsoever.
I'm sorry, because this is what outrages me.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Man, her ass been home with somebody the first night. She been busted down the first night with her OnlyFans ass. That's the thing that bothers me. They act like women don't go places the first night with men if they want to. We can't have it both ways. We can't say that they're feminists and they're empowered and they can do everything they want to do, but then turn around and say, no, you're taking advantage of them. And that's the thing that bothers me. I don't really get passionate about this and stuff like this. But I get tired. I get sick and tired of these women with these bullshit narratives coming here and saying that someone's doing something. Well, hold on. I thought these women were strong and they could do anything they wanted to. You were strong. It was okay for you to make the choice to go home. It was okay for you to make the choice to be a single mom twice over. It was okay for you to make the choice to go and have an OnlyFans selling a vegan cookbook with your ass hanging out, but it's not okay for a woman if she chose to go home with a man at night. And I'm tired of that. If we're gonna be adults, let's be adults. I'm sorry, I relinquished the floor. I apologize.
No. It's facts though. I mean, it's facts. I mean, because the thing is like the thing is like you see in society like so much bad behavior by these women, and it's like you're trying to call us you're trying to call us pedos and all of these things, and it's like, oh, you're taking advantage of these of these young girls, and I'm like, wait a minute, these countries got laws too, right? It's like, what are you talking about? Like why would we want to go over there and actually do something like that? Are you crazy? Like, really? You think that they're gonna allow like someone underage to get taken advantage of from someone from well, first of all, even if that person was in their community, they're gonna handle it. But especially someone from outside of their community. You know what would
It-
happen? Come on now.
Explain to them about the laws that you were telling how.
This is something. If America has a trade pact with a country, one of the things they do is they say that country must enforce laws, especially with sex trafficking. I don't want to disrespect your.
Yeah, nah, you good, bro.
Especially with trafficking.
Yep.
They have to enforce the laws just like they enforce it here.
Right.
So you have to understand. So when you see, and that's how you can tell when something's full of it or not, because the American, if Austin was really guilty of doing something, he would have been picked up by the FBI. He would have picked up. People don't understand that the FBI can operate internationally. Yep. You know, they operate internationally more than they operate here. And so that's one of the things when I see this, and it's just me, because if you knew how heavy my political background was, the State Department will not allow us to do business with somebody without them enforcing our laws with trafficking. America is the leader in cracking down on trafficking, even though most of the trafficking happens in the United States. So what I'm telling people is that when they go here and they say something like that, it's not only that their laws would get them, but after he was subject to their laws, he would come back here and be subject to our laws.
Right.
And so I know somebody who got picked up in Thailand, didn't even do anything wrong, but when he got kicked out of the country and came back, he had to sit in the jail for 9 months so they verified that he didn't do anything because he was already convicted. So they held him for trial for 9 months because their evidence was that he was convicted there under their system. So they're going to hold him for trial, and then they dropped course on him. So all of this crap that people are talking about, that he could have did this and that, they need to just, first of all, they need to shut up. I mean, I see those ladies in Texas, and I mean, she's obviously a bust down, you know, and she gonna sit there and act like she's somebody when, you know, she's just a bust down pass around, you know, or all of the UK. And so, I mean, it just upsets me when people say stuff like that, especially for someone who's traveled like this. I know the laws of the country I travel into because I travel.
Right.
And so I know what's going on, you know. And also, a man of any intestinal fortitude wouldn't allow that to be around him anyway. And we never allowed that. My travel group never allowed that. If you came in our travel group talking like that, it'd be Merry Christmas.
Yeah. I like how you did that. But yes, absolutely. I mean, yeah, like we don't play like that, man. We don't play like that. And then they also say, oh yeah, these women are just uneducated. So what, like we're just going in like huts? Like we're just going in huts and just getting them, like for real? Like they don't have any infrastructure there? Well, hold on a minute. Sorry, hold on a minute, bro. And they also keep saying third world countries. Brazil is a second world country. Colombia is a second world country. I haven't been to Brazil yet, but I can tell you a whole lot about Colombia, especially in Medellin and Cali and Barranquilla and Cartagena. Man, well, in Medellin, like, man, they got some malls there. They got some malls that will put some malls in the States to shame. See, the thing is that, you know, some of these ladies are just used to their girl trips or whatever, or the booze cruise, and then the booze cruise, pull up on the side of the island, so they only see, the part of the island where the people are allowed to go. So they assume outside of that, oh, it's just a rough and jungle, and it's like, really? You think that we going through the jungle for some cat? Nah, bro, it ain't that deep.
Well, one of the things that always offends me is when they say stuff like these people can't speak English, right? And then they always, and then just to tell you how they're uneducated about just life, the national language of the Philippines was English until 2006. 95% of Filipinos speak English to a competent level. So you're not going over there exploiting somebody who doesn't understand English.
Right.
And so it's just when I see things like that, like I showed Scott the other day, it's a Sao Paulo with a higher GPA, but Rio, I mean, like, and this is what my company actually uses to set prices where they pay people from who are working remote from Rio. during the pandemic, and so that's where I got the website. They said that the average working person makes 58 grand a year there. I mean, in Rio.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I remember when I went to human resources and I verified it with my human resources person. They said no, there's two tiers. There's people who work and professional people, and there's people who aren't professional people who do labor. The average professional person, which is a great amount of Rio, makes $58,000 a year. You know, and I remember Scott was like, "Dude, it's a lot less than that." And then I sent them the website that they send me. That's how they decide how to pay people who let's say because everybody worked remote during the pandemic. So if I was I'm going to be now living in Brazil and work there because some people actually did that. And they said, okay, you know, they were Brazilian, so they went back home. They said they're going to work from home, and that's what they paid them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watch
so that's what they. Man, this is I got a little heated there. We all got passionate there. We got to get Scott yelling now, then we.
Yeah, man. We go have to do that on the next one, man. But let me tell you both gentlemen. This was definitely a great conversation. I'm just going to go through the last bit of comments here. I just want to make sure that everyone's voices is heard. There's actually a man in the community who said that.
No way.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yikes. Shout out to Loyalty. Yes, Kings. Yes, for sure. At least they thought that they watched it. Man, they didn't watch it, man. You know, or you know what? Actually, I do believe that they watched it, but like, you know, some women will see something and still believe it's something else, and it's like, no, this is right in front of you. It's like, ma'am, the sky's blue. Well, I don't know if it's kind of turquoise. It's like, man, it's blue. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stop moving the goalposts.
You need to be right.
There it is, right there. Right there.
Yeah.
Creating content and supporting the bro. Thank you so much. Oh, my man Los is in the building. I'm over here yeah, man. My man Los is in the building. I see you, man. I see you. Let's see. Just trying to get to some other things, man. Let's see. Family is valued differently in other countries. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that one. Man. Mr. O, just living.
Mr. O, just living.
Talking about Rochelle Gemini. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Hold on. Mr. O, what's up, my G? How you doing, my brother?
Yeah, man. Definitely, man. We about to close up shop, though, soon. Yeah, first night back in 2019, many pounds ago. Oh, wow.
Well, hold on. You busted her down, bruh?
Wait. Was that you? Hold on.
All right.
Hold on. It's getting late here. Hold on.
Plot thickens.
Hold on. I don't even drink.
This is the kind of content I like.
Yeah, right? Hold on, Mr. O. Yeah.
Oh, he said yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Drop down, give the eagle on, girl. Drop down to get your eagle on, girl. Drop down to get your eagle on, girl. Oh, man. Hey, Mr. O, man. Hey, listen, man. If you want to come up, let me know. I'll drop the link right now. I was about to close. Hold on. Oh. LOL, she's a local rapper. All cap. Oh, no. Oh, man. Man. Wow. Hey, Mr. O, man. If you want to pull up, man, I'll drop the link. But I was about to shut it down, but man, you just woke me up, bro. You just woke me up. Because this is about to be 1 a.m. here. I got to be up in the morning, man. So I'm like, yeah. He said he said he's at the gym. But yeah, we
okay.
Listen.
Oh, this is hilarious. Man, if I knew that, I would have put him in our video.
Right. Exactly. Oh,
that feature of Mr. O is just living live on the streets.
Oh,
right.
Mr.
Yeah,
O
yeah.
was like on our first live stream when we dropped a link. Mr. O came up.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
man.
Mr. O came up on our first live stream.
Oh,
Man,
oh man.
it's getting good. It got good.
Wow. Oh man, this just got. I know everybody ready to go to bed. Everybody like, hold on.
Like, what's this?
Everybody put the comforter back. They like, forget that bed. What's going on here?
Yeah, man.
Dazzling Urban, he got the eyes. I got the eyes too. What's going on here? I got you. We could talk about it another time. Yeah, man. Hey, Mr. O, man, hit me up on Instagram. Definitely hit me up on Instagram because we definitely got to have a conversation about this one. This is crazy. Oh man, shout out to Mr. O.
Clapping it up.
Man. Oh man, he said I got stories. Oh man. Whoa. Oh, he said y'all got his IG. Y'all got his IG?
Yeah. I believe we do. I got to double check. I'm pretty sure we do.
Okay.
But I know we're subscribed to his channel and everything. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. He said, excellent. Mr. Burns. Oh man, this is gonna be good. This gonna be good, man. Listen.
Grover, I think Kings and Dreams trying to close up shop. Where are you? Oh, there
right
you
here.
Yeah, man. So
I like it. I like it. We ended off on a spicy note. This is
yes, absolutely.
Information right here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, listen, man. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, he said that shit gonna be off the chain. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. It's gonna be Kings and Dreams, Tip Network. We go. Yeah, this gonna be good. I don't care who channel it's on, but that's all I just want to be a part of it. That's all I know. I don't care who channel it's on, man. But yeah, man. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Final thoughts, man. Scott, I'll let you go first, man.
All right. So my final thought, I've actually been thinking about this, is that every time I'm around my Vietnamese family, and especially my aunts, they always wanted to bring me back to the home country of Vietnam and have me marry one of the girls over there. So now I'm like really thinking about it and thinking about this modern woman thing and then the passport bros. My question is like, why do they want me to marry a Vietnamese woman so badly? And I'm pretty sure the audience knows the answer. That's all I gotta say.
Yep. Apparently winter's coming. Well, it's here. It's here. Shout out to Mr. O. Lord have mercy. All right, Grover, what you got for me, man?
Hey, man, I want to say, first of all, shout out to Mr. O. Mr. O's a Sav, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for everybody who rocked with us, everybody who subbed to the Tip Network. And, we got over 300 pieces of content, and we're just going to keep making content because we don't know how to quit. I always think about, traveling in a situation like this. If you don't have a wingman, you need to have information. So, of course, I do consultations for people looking to understand some things about Thailand. I got a lot of experience there, or Southeast Asia in general. I have a breadth of knowledge there. But one thing I'd also say is that I'm more interested in helping folks who are really looking for ways and understanding how to vet a woman foreignly. And this is something that I can help you do, because it's a little different than vetting here. So, good luck to everybody. Thank you, all you polite savages, for rocking with us. And, as always, ask yourself one question: can you handle the tip, baby?
Oh, wow. Okay, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely appreciate both of you brothers coming up here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, man. Thank you so much, man. Listen, man. I appreciate you all in the chat for popping out. Shout out to the Tip Network. Yeah, man. When you travel, just make sure that you get some boots on the ground. It's always good to, get in touch with the locals So this way you're able to move around comfortably and could avoid any situations, especially right now. It's a very sensitive time, unfortunately. But, we got to make sure that we move smarter and just keep grinding, man. Really, really appreciate it. And definitely get your passport. Shout out to my man, Austin Holloman. It is that bad.
It's that bad.
Yeah, man. Definitely, man. Yeah, man. This was a great one, man. This is a great one, man. So salute. We are signing.
Everyone have a good night. Thank you.